Here we go. What a night. What a night we got for you guys. What a great show. What a great gaming weekend we have set up for all of us, guys. Make sure the audio's sounding good. I see the great Jimmy Harrison here, Domino Zero, Matty Beast, JC 2013. You guys want to say what's up to everybody and give a quick announcement here so everybody knows. As everybody kind of trickles in, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please, your name comes up in lights. We are doing a massive Xbox showcase this Sunday. I'll be saying it a couple times throughout the show. But the Xbox showcase, we're going to be doing our live reactions. We're going to have a pre-show, our reactions live, and then a post-show. And we're going to go right through the Xbox showcase. And I believe we'll also stick around for the Call of Duty showcase as well. That's going to be right after the Xbox one. So it's going to be a long Sunday afternoon of games and news. And tonight really ties in. And of course, man, lucky for CrossFire, news broke all day long. A lot of it's rumors, a lot of it's leaked information, but at the same time, it seems like it's pretty legit. And there's my boy Blaze, who just makes a last-second entry, and I love it. I love it. We're going to have an outstanding show for you guys. So, guys, make sure you're here 12:30 Eastern Time, Sundays, when we're going to be going live. It's going to be an outstanding show, great panel. I think you're really going to dig it. That being said here, we got an outstanding show for you. Take a look at that outstanding description right there. It gives you a little synopsis of what the show is going to be about. Right above it, again, you'll see that like button. Hit that, please, as we go through the show. You can't hit that like button enough. Just keep on hitting it. Nonetheless, right above that is the join button. If you guys will notice, a lot of people in the chat have those green names right now. Thanks to the great Esprit, Lotus, and Mash. Guys, donating 20, 30 members a week. I can't say thank you enough. We're well over 130 members on the channel now. It's overwhelming, and I can't say thank you enough to those two guys, as well as a lot of you that have resubscribed. That means the world to me as well. So, guys, without further ado, we're going to get right into tonight's panel. Some folks have to leave around 8:30 Eastern Time, so we're going to go as fast as we can through some of these topics. But a lot of these are heartfelt, and a lot's happened today. So without further ado, the great Detective Seeds is with us here. Seeds, I got to say, you've been absolutely on fire on Twitter, and also doing your thing as far as getting platinums. But, buddy, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Good. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, quite a bit of news come out today and some updates, especially on some existing Sony titles. So I've been trying to put that out, and I look forward to talking games with everyone tonight.
Well, great to have you here, Seeds. Please chime in whenever you want. I know your opinions matter here. The great Mr. Badbit is with us. Ciao, ragazzo. How you doing, buddy? The man is right from Italy. He came from Italy to CrossFire. I mean, this is an unbelievable feat. I don't know how he did it in such a timely manner. Mr. Badbit's back on the show. How you doing tonight, sir?
Man, I'm feeling rested, rejuvenated. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I miss Italy, you know. I miss Venice, the city that is made popular by Assassin's Creed 2 and the Spider-Man Far From Home. You know?
That's right. That's correct. Nice tie-in, Mr. Badbit. Very nice.
I try. No, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to talk about, games, predictions, all that good stuff.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. So listen, tonight's going to be full of emotions. That's for darn sure. Speaking of that, we've got our gentleman that you guys know as Death Singer from across the pond. Or listen, let's not call it England. We're going to call it Wales just for tonight. Singer, welcome back to the show, buddy. Great to have you with us, buddy. And I can't wait to hear what you got to say. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. And it's always good to be back.
Absolutely. Singer, tonight's the night for you, buddy. I hope you know that. There's going to be a star right over your head. I know. So I just want to make sure you're prepared. Go ahead and make sure you have your energy drink. We're going to need, or if they have a caffeinated tea, which I believe they do. Singer, we're going to absolutely. We're going to need your efforts tonight. Shout out to the great Detective CC. That's too kind. 20 gifted members. That's unbelievable. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much. Look at that. Even
I'm paying
more
my
people.
Rent.
Seeds. Way too kind, brother. Way too kind. Thank you. The great Detective Seeds, everybody. Thank you so much. This is an individual that I'm very excited that I have on the show tonight. The great D Batch is here. And listen, D, I don't do it. I asked you to be on the show days ago, so this was not today. It's not because the news broke, and I got to get D on the show. I love having D on, and D is always on the show when breaking news happens that has a lot of different emotions and feelings throughout the gaming community. D, welcome back to Crossfire, buddy. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Yeah, like I'm like the viewers today. I'm getting some of the breaking news like live.
Yes,
I was I was off the internet kind of today, and I'm seeing all of the stories and the stuff that's leaking, and it's crazy. And summertime is a time for games, man. We got all the summer game fest, and then we got Microsoft's show on the weekend. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm raring and ready to go, man. I'm bumbling my words because I'm so excited, man. So let's just get on with
D,
it.
get ready. You're going to be in the hot seat first as soon as this panel introduction is over. So get prepared, D. The great Worry Wart Gamers here. Me and Worry were going back and forth all day talking about the news that had broke, and we were going back and forth on, is this really happening? And what is the outcome? And what's really the long game here for Xbox? I said, Worry, do me a favor. Just do me a favor. I don't care how long you can stay. Just come on the show. He goes, I'll try my best. Here he is. He's back with us. Worry, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm great. I went from not buying games and waiting for them to come to Game Pass. Now I am just waiting for those games to come to PlayStation.
It's a lot of waiting.
It's the Game Pass effect.
It really is that effect. Well, I'm glad you're snapped out of it, and it's you're back to gaming again, Worry. So I appreciate that. Great to have you here tonight. And Il Mio Cugino himself, the great Blaze 4K. I hope you guys go over and check out Solidcast. We had an outstanding show. And, me and Blaze, this is what Italian people do. I say, Blaze, I got about 2 hours. He goes, Mooch, I'll get you out in 2 hours. 3 hours later, the show ended. So this is what we do. We promise the world, and then we just give you what we can give you. That's just the way it is. Blaze, CrossFire, buddy, great to have you back here. And boy, oh boy, we could not have worked the deal out better than tonight. Blaze, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize it was 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, shit. Mooch DM me.
That's all right, buddy. I appreciate you being here. And Blaze, you already know. I already know you're going to have, your opinions are going to really, really kind of light the chat on fire. I'm going to go to D here first. I wanted to get D in the hot seat because I only have D for so long tonight. D, in all honesty, let's talk about it. I was going to start with the Games Showcase. I was going to talk about Summer Game Fest. But let's get into what really people want to talk about tonight. We'll get into the meat and potatoes right away. It's reported, not Microsoft's reporting, but there's leaks coming out from different sources saying that there's an early stage of a remaster of Halo Combat Evolved, and they're saying not only would it come to Xbox, PC, but it will be coming to PlayStation. And this kind of takes us back to the February podcast, D, where people were saying it's only 4 games. And now you have other people that are out there saying it's actually much more than 4 games. It's going to be possibly the whole slate, and it may not be day and date, but it very well could be with certain titles and other titles just down the road. So D, where do we go? What do you say to Xbox fans right now that are out there that are saying, you know what, it doesn't matter? Does it matter at this point for the platform, not the publisher Xbox, but the platform?
Yes, of course it matters. Now, when we got the first news that some games were coming, and then we got the confirmation, I don't know why people were under the impression that was only going to be those games. That was like testing the water. Some of those games did pretty well.
Yeah,
especially rounded. It made them a lot more revenue. This is another base that they can get their games on and make money. They're not selling as many consoles as they'd like. They're not selling as much software as they're liking to. They're being outsold by Sony like 3-1, like pretty much worldwide. That's a pretty big divide. So they need to make more money. So I always knew that more games were going to come to the PlayStation. I was never under that impression. Like, I'll give you guys a spoiler, and you guys can bookmark this. But I'm pretty certain that come holiday season, we're going to see Starfield on PlayStation. I've heard that behind the scenes, and I'm quite confidently in saying that I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. We're going to see it there this year. Now, when it comes to Halo, there's some games that should never touch the PlayStation. Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable, like these games that are synonymous with Xbox, that give Xbox their identity, should never be going over to the PlayStation platform. And if they go over to the PlayStation platform, what is even the point? Like I tweeted out today, like, what's the point? There's no console war in that moment of time when that happens. Like Halo going over to PlayStation is a big thing. And why would you be bringing, the older Halos over to PlayStation? So people are saying, oh, who cares? It's an older title. This is like a hallmark of Xbox. And if they're bringing the older titles over to PlayStation, they want to get people familiar with the story, with the lore, with the game, so they can bring future iterations of that game over to PlayStation. So personally, I'm not for this.
Yeah.
And I tweeted out today, pretty much, if this happens, like I'm done defending Xbox. I'm done. I'm not gonna stop playing their games. Like I'll still play their games.
Absolutely.
But at that point, I pretty much wouldn't own an Xbox console. I would just play my Xbox games on PC and own a PlayStation 5. And for console only players, if games are coming to the PlayStation platform, what's the purpose of having the Xbox? Because PlayStation platform in its current form has the better exclusives. So if you can get the better exclusives and get the Xbox exclusives over there, that makes the Xbox Series console a lot less desirable. Just my opinion. And that I think these are facts. And I think if it actually happens, all these guys saying, "Oh, no," these are going to be the guys that'll be crying the most.
Yeah. Yeah. D, it's funny you say that. So Blaze, I'm going to just kind of piggyback what D's saying. The second part of this is he's explained that to you. I think that's I've even questioned if there will be another Xbox I purchase after this generation, because if they're all going to be going to Steam or you're going to be doing PC Game Pass anyways, they're really pushing you that way. But Blaze, my question to you is, why are we talking about the handheld and we're talking about in 2026 possibly new hardware coming out? If the Series console, and let's be honest, I'm going to give Xbox credit here, the Series X is no slouch. That's a good console.
It's a good console, yeah.
Right? It's a good console. There's never been anything from Digital Foundry or anything saying that the Series X is lacking behind or anything like the Xbox One went through with the whole 720p or 900p. None of that is happening right now. They're leading in certain cases on certain games. So my point being is, why, Blaze, would you or anybody in the gaming community take another $500 out of their pocket and go buy another piece of property, hardware property of theirs in 2 years? They're saying 26 will be their next launch possibly, when you have a competent machine in your home right now that they're bailing on.
Yeah, I mean, Adi was saying, the console war would be over at that point. And at this point, I think, and for just talking consoles, I think it's already over. Like, I honestly do. Microsoft does not give a shit about their console space. I mean, they prove it time and time again. Countless time where you're just scratching your head like, wait, you're making me move away from this console more and more and more. I got the Halo Infinite Special Edition console. I love my Series X, but the fact of the matter is, and we've known this for a long time, especially if they move a game like Halo, it's like, dude, what the fuck is the point? You know what I mean? What is even the point? Like, I already feel that way now. Now you're telling me you're going to give me all these, stamped Xbox games that are literally held up Microsoft throughout the generations. You're just going to give it to PlayStation, which, hey, I'm all for it. I'll platinum that shit. You know what I mean? But that shit is that, if you're an Xbox guy, you got to kind of feel some type of way. Like, fuck if Halo comes right now, you should feel some type of way already.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I see. No, go ahead, D.
I just want to say, I see a lot of coping, man. And it's unbelievable. Like, how could you, that's like, Uncharted coming to Xbox. That's like
big time.
God of War coming to Xbox. That's like Gran Turismo coming to Xbox. Like, it's a big deal. And why these guys are just like dismissing it, saying, "Oh, it's an old game," or "It doesn't matter." It does freaking matter. It matters all the time when you're freaking tweeting it out and you're on the internet rage quitting on everybody that Xbox is not losing the console war. It's gonna freaking matter if your core games, the games that actually make Xbox go over to PlayStation, because both of the systems play multiplats. So it's the exclusives that make these systems a little bit different. And if you can get both exclusives on the PlayStation, this generation, all their games are going to go down the toilet. Maybe they can recover next generation with the strategy that they'll have. Yeah. But this generation, it'll be really bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, so Worry, you heard what Blaze and D are saying. Worry, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like, PlayStation came out and doubled down. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people say, wait a minute, didn't they say 3-4 years ago that PlayStation would never be on PC? Absolutely. Times have definitely changed. You can go ahead and take that and say, well, clearly, Mooch, it's going to be where Uncharted will eventually be, an Uncharted 5 would go day and date to PC and maybe go on Xbox. The thing about it is that I think Sony's aware, first of all, they don't have the financial capabilities that Microsoft does, right? They just don't. Microsoft makes money off of their software. And I know a lot of diehard Xbox fans are like, I still want my console, and I understand every single syllable they're saying. But at the end of the day, Sony doesn't just want their console. they need their console at this point in time. You could see even the games they are bringing over to PC, they're requiring a PSN sign-in, and you see how that's sitting well with people. It's not. So they're not even upset that they're upsetting some of those folks. They're really putting their primary focus on the console and the console's accessories. So worry, coming from where we were 10 years ago to where we are today, you listen, Halo Gears, the Gears collection, they're saying could even be announced Sunday as a multi-plat. Where are we right now? Where's Xbox go from here?
I think, well, first off, when D was talking about, people thought it was only 4 games. The reason that they thought that is because Phil Spencer said that in the interview. Remember when he said that it's just these 4 games. Don't think anything else is coming. We're just putting these games that require larger audiences to sort of drive the engagement. But I don't understand the disconnect between, like, for instance, like D is not hardcore, but he's an Xbox fan, like me, like a long time ago, BGST, right? We were talking about Xbox. We love the Xbox 360. We love the original Xbox.
Yes.
There's a slew of people that are making content on social media that are real, genuine fans of Xbox. And then there are the people, and you know who they are, that use it as a sort of, I'm going to get more subscribers, I'm going to get more hits, I'm going to get more views. Let me just say whatever I need to say to keep these people engaged. The difference between Sony and Microsoft is so clear to me. Maybe it's just because I'm old. One is a hardware company and one is a software company. One is an entertainment company and the other is a computer software company. So the idea that Microsoft has problems creating entertainment isn't something that I find baffling. And I think that at this point, 3-1 almost everywhere in the world in terms of sales when it comes to a console, I think it's over. There is no console war. I'm not sure why anybody would purchase a handheld Xbox to any degree. Now, the people out there who are going to buy it day one, I'm sure there are people like that, but I'm talking about like the market in general. But I mean,
there's
like,
already handheld Xboxes out there, it don't make any sense.
Thank you, Blaze.
Yeah, there's the ROG Alloy, there's the Steam Deck. I mean, you can already play Xbox games on the go. You can already get Game Pass games on handheld. So why would somebody choose? It's like saying, there's all these permutations of great laptops out there. Microsoft makes the Surface brand. The Surface brand isn't lighting the world on fire, but they're still in that space. At what point do they realize that you have to differentiate yourself when you're competing in anything? This idea that everything they have can go places, it doesn't matter because it's an old game. Of course it matters. It matters a great deal to people. This is how people think. People don't go into a store and they're like, does this do 60 frames per second or is that one 59 frames per second? They don't do that. They go in there for the games, word of mouth through social media. For instance, take the partnership with Stellar Blade, right? Stellar Blade, PlayStation and Sony Studios didn't create that game, but they partnered to make that game a PlayStation experience. Most people just see that and they think that's a PlayStation game. Same with Rise of Ronin. Microsoft consistently has stopped doing that. They purchased a bunch of studios, closed down a bunch of them. They have an Xbox Series console, X and S, that aren't selling at all, worse than the Xbox One generation. So for me, I'm thinking, who greenlit new hardware?
Right.
I don't get it. Who's buying it? And
you know what's crazy, Worry, is if you look back at the Xbox One, people will say that was a really bad generation. But again, what they were doing,
it was a great generation for them.
Right, but they didn't have
to now, yeah.
Right. Well, they didn't have the first party, they didn't have as many first party games, but what were they doing? They had back compat that was super appealing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you owned a library, you know what I mean? You had all these old games that you could replay that brought value to the console, but here they are, you know what I mean? Like just moving away from the value part it's just
it's that's crazy. The only thing that I use my Xbox for. That's the one thing that they do so well.
Yeah.
Like I saw somebody talking about Half-Life 3 possibly being announced at this game show coming up. And I mean, I purchased the orange box digitally like years ago, and it just shows up in my queue on Xbox, right? I can play it now. I mean, there are Sony games that you can't play natively on the PlayStation that you can purchase and play natively on the Xbox. And yet, instead of leaning into that, they just, I don't know what it is they're doing. I just don't understand it. Why can they not just make a video game that's good? Do you know what I mean? Why can't they just create something that speaks to everyone, that blows people away? And I constantly bring up, like, you remember when they showed off Horizon Forbidden West?
Yes.
And everybody thought it was a PS5 only title, right? Because they didn't tell you it was a PS4 title.
They didn't. That's right, to the end.
Right? I mean, how are they able to do that on the PlayStation 4 And yet here we are, how many years into this generation, and Microsoft still hasn't created anything that really shows the power of the Series X and just blows people away. I don't understand it.
Yeah, they have yet.
There's a disconnect with their leadership. There's just some disconnect. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're not gaming centric. Maybe they're just sort of number centric. I don't know.
I mean, they can't even buy developers to, all right, you can't, who we got right now can't create that. But, even when they go to the store and drop millions of dollars, they can't, it seems like they can't catch a break or get it done, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Or it's like they get one, and Mr. Babbitt, I'll give you the mic in a second, or Blaze, to add to your point, is like they get one and not the other, right? So they'll get something as beautiful as Hellblade 2, but not as compelling in gameplay, game mechanics, right? Or lore.
Yeah, I mean, who knew you needed gameplay in a video game, right?
Go figure. What do you think, Mr. Babbitt? I have a couple other questions. Go ahead.
I'll play a little devil's advocate.
Please.
Because I don't want all of us on this panel to just say the same thing.
It is mind-blowing, but I appreciate that, Mr. Babbitt. Please do.
I mean, we're just being honest. It's not
yeah. Listen, I want this to be entertaining. I want to fight. That's what I want to do.
Let's go.
I want to see some blood. No, so let me the PlayStation guy try to reel it in and play the role. So I'm a PlayStation guy. I've been this way, primary console since the end of the 360 era. And for me, I barely touch my Series X. So much so that like after the pandemic and I had my fill with Sea of Thieves, I didn't really see myself, after this year kind of getting into the console anymore, and I sold it off, right? For me, as a PlayStation person, seeing something like a Hellblade is like, oh, that'd be nice, but it's not a necessity because I'm just not into the Xbox, exclusives as an Xbox person is, right?
Yeah.
Like Gears of War and Halo, those are the most formative games for me as a gamer. But I'll wait, right? It's similar to that of like the PlayStation and how it's handled the PC launches of their products, right? Like you have Forbidden West on PC. You could play it all which way, however way you want. You can make it look like the most beautiful thing ever, all that jazz. You could play it in ultra wide. But me as a PlayStation gamer, I don't care because I already played that game, right?
Right.
Same with Returnal. Same with God of War Ragnarok that's coming out in September. For me, it's cool that more profit for that developer means they get to make more of the games that I like. But just because it's out on the other platform doesn't necessarily mean for me that I feel like my box is devalued.
Okay, I like where you're going with this. Okay.
I think Microsoft's problem, and I think Xbox's problem, is that they talk too goddamn much. They talk too much. They've been your buddy. They followed you on Twitter. They retweeted your console war bullshit. And to an extent, sometimes they maybe even believed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
they still believe
here's the thing. Party lines change. Right? Like, what is the company line changes, and you have to change with that company line. And so what we've seen from Phil Spencer over the last 6 months, and I think over 7 months now, is this, back and forth. Remember when the COO said, hey, we're going to bring more games to, other platforms. And then people are like, don't worry about that. It's this console war fodder. That's not happening. And Phil Spencer comes out and he's like, no, it's not. What? No, he's just saying shit. And then come February, he's like, no, we are bringing games over to the other platforms. It's just these 4 right now. Don't think about it much. It's just Sea of Thieves. It's 6 years old. Pentiment, 7 people played. So it's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be all right. And now we hear these rumblings, right? No, it's even more. Yes, we're talking about red lines and where things stand. If Xbox just did it and they didn't, have to give you this, cyberpunk level apology tweet every time they make a move, that may be considered unpopular.
Mr. Babbitt, they've been apologizing since 2014.
And I think that's the truest problem. It's like, dude, it's like Boy Who Cried Wolf of apologizing. It's like, at what point do we just say, just shut up? And I think that's where the true problem lies. Because as a PlayStation fan, listen, again, I'll wait for Gears to come on PlayStation. That's fine. But for me to see God of War leave and go to PC, I'm not tempted to build the PC for God of War. So
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, like, when you said that games going everywhere aren't going to really damage the brand any, I think there's a huge difference, and maybe it's just me, but I think there's a huge difference between putting your games on PC and then also putting them on a console that's the competitor. Because I know people don't like to hear this or believe it, but most people who buy consoles, who are really interested in that, aren't buying a PC to play video games. So if you're putting your games on PC, that's great. Like, for instance, the first Gears of War was on PC. I didn't know. I didn't care. Nobody that I knew that had an Xbox 360 cared. That was an Xbox
There's a Brumach level in that. I wanted
the Brumach level, yeah. That was, nobody cared. But, if I'm a console only gamer, and there are a lot of people out there that still are, and you're putting games on PC, I don't care. But if you're telling me that they're going to be on a PlayStation, then I'm just not going to buy an Xbox.
Right.
Because there's no point to that.
I think it goes back to what Phil Spencer said a year back, right? It's like the problem is that people are comfortable in their ecosystems. The libraries have been fixed, and we hit the ceiling of what the consoles are going to do here, and we have to explore somewhere else.
Mr. Babbitt, if I may, though, Netflix had the rights to, like, Daredevil, and they had the Punisher, and they had things like that, and that brought in a lot of people. Okay, a lot of people. When they lost those rights, those privileges, because Disney started their own streaming service, Netflix could have been like, we had people, we cut those deals, we lost those people. We're just going to we're going to put our Netflix shows on Disney, and I'll take a cut over there. Like, the thing is you can't give up. You can't just stop. Saying making good games is just not enough. Truly just doesn't hold water with a lot of customers. It shows no faith in that brand. That's
waving the white flag. The thing is, you can still entice people over by having great products and great games. I still believe that. I don't care. I love trophies. I love the ecosystem, all that bullshit. Yep. And yes, that does matter to a point, but if you have games where I can't play anywhere else and they're that damn good, people are going to go fucking play.
You got to go. I can't wait for this Xbox showcase because and I mean this with all my heart, I really can't wait to start using the Series X again. I'm hoping they show something that is only, I mean it. And a lot of people think that's a console war thing. It's not. I have one sitting right there. It's no more than 6-7 feet away.
Well, apparently the show's going to be a 9.5 out of 10, Mooch.
Well, that's fine. I hope it is.
So, my argument to that is, there's a lot of really good PC games out right now, right? Like, games like, Lethal Company, right? That doesn't make me go out and buy a PC.
Brother, right? Lethal Company is not the same as fucking a new fucking, you know what I mean? No offense to Lethal Company, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about
us.
Not a AAA console exclusive banger.
The thing is, guys, that market is shrinking. Right? It's not like I love those games. Like, my Horizons, my Halos, all of it. That market's hit the ceiling. Like, I go over to my Gen fucking Z coworkers.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, the Spider-Man's cool, whatever. I'm playing the dumb Pokemon clone game." But
Mr. Babbitt, once those Gen Z people actually get another 5-6 years older, they're going to want to grab a console. They're not going to be out partying.
Mooch, I was just going to say that, I disagree. I mean, if that's the case, then they wouldn't greenlight a AAA platformer, which is another genre that nobody's making, but Sony decided to double down on it. So you can't just say that there's a ceiling here. Things have sort of topped off, so let's just drop it and move on, because things change over time.
If I can jump in here real quick, I think I do disagree on the ceiling part for right now. I think that we need to see some more numbers, and the reason I say that is this last report that just came out. People said, the console, PS5 struggling, things like that. And we see that is completely false. We also saw that, I believe it was Spider-Man 2 ended up bringing in, $700 and some million to cost a shit ton of money to make, but it ended up netting a ton of money. So I don't know that we actually know what the ceiling is yet, right? Like, I think that obviously games are extremely expensive to make. That's no doubt about it. But I agree with Blaze. I have always had an Xbox and a PlayStation. I have taken my Xbox on 4 of my 7 deployments because of how sturdy it was. I no longer have an Xbox. I took my Xbox and traded it in because I now have a very powerful PC, a very powerful gaming laptop, and my PlayStation 5. They did not give me a reason to keep it because now these games that are coming out, I know that I'm going to be able to play those games on my PC. And I think if Xbox would have had a good, solid cadence the last year and a half, 2 years of bam, 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 just quality cadent games coming out, I would have been enticed to keep my Xbox because, look, I like to sit back and game. I like to sit in my recliner. I like to crack a couple beers, and I like to just chill and play video games. But they did not give me a reason to do that when I can hook up my laptop or my gaming PC and do the same thing. Now, is it a little bit different? Yes, but I agree with Blaze 100%. You got to have those console games that entice players to come over there and play that game. And if you don't, they're not going to come buy your console at all. They're just going to skip it. And now they have given them a reason, us as consumers a reason, not to buy into the ecosystem because you can get a PC or these games are going to go to PlayStation. And I think that they've lost that path of getting people to come into their ecosystem via the Xbox hardware.
And we know what games they're making, right? So people say the whole sailing thing, my fault, Mooch, but they say the whole sailing shit, right? And I get what Babbitt's saying, but I think he's too early on this because when everybody's sitting around wondering what Naughty Dog and Bend and all these Gorilla and all these, like, what are their next games? Like, we know it's going to be one of them games. It's going to be a high quality, big game. Like, that's just what we know. And like, that's what people are excited for. So to say that, that shit is going away.
Well, that's
maybe
devil's
to some
advocate.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Mooch.
Yes, go ahead,
Right.
Singer, please.
So there's a couple of things. The one, I expect the move of the handheld gaming because there is increasing demand, and it is well known that there is high demand for that now, especially over in Asia, like India, China. Those kind of countries, they're really loving handhelds. Like, there's a reason why the Switch is the #1 in Japan, right? Yeah, okay, the PlayStation sells nice over there, but it'll never beat the Switch in Japan because they love their handheld and mobile gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, you see Genshin Impact, for example, and all these kinds of games. So, getting in on that trend, sure, you're never going to beat the Switch, but unlike the Steam Deck, you have to buy that through Valve. It's not in your stores, it's not in your Walmarts, it's not in your Costco's, whatever you have, right? It's not on the shelf. You could put the Xbox handheld on the shelves. When people walk in, they could go, oh, look at that. And even like the ROG Ally, yeah, you could put that in there. But to your regular person, which is going to stand out more, Asus or Xbox as a brand? Like, Asus isn't as well known as Xbox. Sure, if you're an enthusiast, you know Asus make monitors.
But that singer, they could in Japan. They could have that Xbox handheld and fucking a whole fucking side of crab ragoons with it, brother. That shit is not selling out there. I don't give. They don't trust. They don't trust Xbox in Japan. They don't.
But I'm saying in Europe and America, where Xbox is known, a handheld could do something for them in that. So I could see you making a little handheld. Okay, cool. Now, in terms of the quality of the games, that's obviously subjective to the person, right? I think Triangle Strategy is a quality game. Now, a lot of people who play like Horizon and The Last of Us would think, oh, that's just some small piece of crap, whatever. Well, it's actually a quality game, but you wouldn't know because you don't play those kinds of games. So, games are tailored to the individual. You don't need Red Dead Redemption or whatever style graphics for someone who's into a certain type of game.
I know, but we're just talking about, like, Dessinger, like, you're an Xbox guy. We understand that. I mean, brother, if I cut you right now, you'd be bleeding green, brother. You good? Now listen, you know what type of games Xbox needs. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's everybody's taste or whatever, but at the end of the day, Xbox needs those type of games, Dessinger, whether you don't want to admit it or not.
They do need those kinds of games, but for me, I don't need those kinds of games. I need good games. I don't need, wow, these visuals are amazing. I just need good games. They just need to make good games. Good games, people like to play good games. If you release a bad game like Redfall, ain't no one want to touch that shit. But if you release a good game like...
Some people thought Redfall was an 8 out of 10.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, right? There's games for everyone, okay? You know, but, like, I enjoyed Starfield. Sure. Would I say it's a fantastic game? No. But it was a good game. I enjoyed it. Cool. So I want good games. Good games will make you buy games. Now, because visuals, like, as everyone knows, I played Horizon, for example. I'm loving Ghost of Tsushima, by the way. But I played Horizon, 10 hours, dropped it. Like, it's visually pretty, but I find no enjoyment in this, so I dropped it. Cool, yeah, the visuals are great, but I just don't enjoy it. So, you know, it's kind of in between. But Xbox, we've been known it wasn't just 4 games on that particular topic. The entire catalog's coming. Halo's coming, Gears coming, Forza.
And to that, I will say this, and this is like where Real Joe comes in, and this is my thought. Like, I truthfully don't. I think this is a very short-sighted vision from Xbox putting their games over to PlayStation. Right? I do feel like there should be some type of, I always butcher this word, but I'll say it anyway. Differentiator between the Xbox or the Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Right, like there are games that I know I'm going to get from Nintendo that are going to be the best in this industry. They're going to be family focused. I know that Sony is going to have these really good narrative experiences, and I know that Xbox is going to have some really good multiplayer stuff. Right, I don't think it is a brilliant idea to bring over the green guy that started it all over to the PlayStation, but at the same exact time, as again, someone who has had Halo and Gears as 2 of the most formative games in the early teens, I don't care. I'm going to play the games on PlayStation, right? Like, I waited. I'm going to go pick them up. I'm going to go enjoy them. And like the way I see it is, I don't particularly care at the end of the day how this benefits company A and B. I'm just going to play the games and enjoy them when they come to me and if I want to play them. So like for me, it's like, yeah, I think this is short-sighted. I don't think this is a great idea. I don't think this is so you get more people to buy consoles. But then you take a look at like this Xbox handheld, and I think that what Xbox, I think what PlayStation, Steam, all these companies have kind of looked at Nintendo and gone, Nintendo Switch is very popular, right? I mean, if the console war was broad enough, Nintendo's trumped both of us, and that console is the power of a toaster oven, right? 150 plus million consoles or whatever, so that's nothing to scoff at. That's incredible. And so if I'm Xbox, if I'm PlayStation, if I'm Valve, we got engineers. Why can't we cook up something, right? Like, why? Like, real talk, guys, why do I have a PlayStation Portal? It makes like the thing is that's outside my house. That's a paperweight.
That's a convenience thing, right? Yeah, I mean, that's convenience.
Like, so you don't use your portal outside the house. Come on, man.
I mean, I tried. Real talk, D. Real talk. I have. Let me word this correctly. Known someone at my work that uses it via the hotspot when the Wi-Fi doesn't work good. And they have found it to be an enjoyable experience, not me because I'm a good worker. So like,
yo, nice,
but it's
nice
like, why
save,
would someone who's not me go out there and do that? It's because like I want to play the console experience, but just on the go. So it's like these companies see something with Nintendo, and they're all just kind of throwing a test out there, going, okay.
Yeah,
so
but Mr. Babbitt, though, but even though you make a very good point with the portability and accessibility and convenience, but what about the fact that there's already, not only is there a ROG Ally out there, but the ROG Ally X is due out at some point soon. The Steam Deck 2, I believe Mooch. We're probably looking at 25, 26. Go ahead.
You can already do that shit on a Steam
right.
Deck anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to say this real quick because I gotta jump downstairs for a second. The ROG Ally, I don't understand why Xbox is coming out with a handheld. For one, it better be more powerful than the ROG Ally.
Right, it has to be, right?
But the ROG Ally is pretty much the de facto Xbox device because you can play all of your Game Pass titles on that. Steam, you can't play every single game, and in some games there's like workarounds you got to do, or you got to install Windows on it where the Asus ROG Ally Game Pass is on there. That's it. You can play your games, and I think it's a fantastic device. I personally think it's the best handheld device because I know Nintendo's not going to like to hear this. I can play my Nintendo games, all of them, on my ROG Ally. So
yes,
you could do a lot of stuff. I think that's why Nintendo isn't so worried about going to PC because they kind of get pirated like crazy. Every single Switch game you can play it on the PC. Every single.
There's a huge.
To answer your question, I think the reason why Xbox wants to do it is what you said earlier. It's pretty much they want it to be. This is the definitive way to play an Xbox on the go, and whatever that looks like a custom UI or seamless transition into Game Pass titles, whatever. That's why that handheld's going to exist. Now, if it's going to succeed or not, that's the true test.
Has to be more powerful than the ROG Ally. Has to be.
I think it does too. Even though you say it's a dedicated, so is that. The Game Pass app is on the ROG Ally. I mean, it's native. It's native.
Yeah. They hyped it up together when it was launching.
And I don't know about the whole power.
I'm gonna go downstairs. I'll be back 5 minutes.
All right, D.
Xbox has always pushed this. It's got to be more powerful. I don't know, like having look at history. Having the most powerful console is not doing shit for you. Like again,
yeah, but just before I go down, I heard you saying that. But if it's not the most powerful, it's dead on arrival because why am I going to get that over a ROG Ally?
Bro, I'm speaking to your existence, bro. Like I'm agreeing with you. Like I'm not trying to go any other direction. What I'm telling you is, even if it is more powerful, why the fuck would someone go buy it? Why would anybody go buy a handheld Xbox when they know goddamn for sure that they're not even taking their own brand seriously, their console space seriously? Like, what's the point? There's other options out there.
But here's the thing. The problem is, yes, the ROG Ally exists. Yes, the ROG Ally is a thing. Yes, it's fucking Asus, right? What is Asus known for? You do a popularity brand, they'll tell you monitors, right? That's Asus, right? Okay, the ROG Ally. Now, if you have a big sign saying Xbox, the average person will walk past and go, oh, I know Xbox. Cool, they're doing a handheld. Nice. And the main growing part, why you would want to get in now, is because Asia the demand has skyrocketed, right? Switch is doing whatever it wants to do. But you need to get in the space now, and they probably realize this. They're like, yo, we need to get into this space, because Switch is the only main big guy in there. Sure, well, Steam Deck is good, the ROG Ally is good, but it's selling well, but it's not going to do anything.
What about if it comes out, Dessinger, and it still doesn't sell as much as a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally, which is a possibility?
It's a possibility, but...
Well, the thing that we're missing here is we're sitting here talking about hardware, and the thing that is going to sell these things is games.
Software.
It's like buying my girlfriend a fake set of boobs, and I can't ever play with them. I just look at them because there's nothing to do. So you can have the best hardware and come out with the strongest hardware. If you don't give me games to play on it, why would I buy it? Why would I buy it?
That's where I was getting to,
that's why you'd need to put a whole bunch of games out, which they're in the process of doing, admittedly. They are in the process, but regardless of what you think of the games, they're putting games out. Okay, cool.
I think there's a huge mistake in comparing Nintendo and what they do and trying to model that for Xbox and PlayStation, because Xbox and PlayStation are never not going to try and outpower the market. And when you do that, you add huge costs to the consumer. You're not going to, have a Switch that's going to be like $300 when you have the handheld Xbox. It's probably going to be $600 or $700 because of the power thing. Nintendo has never. The GameCube was the last system that they kind of competed with power. And then they went to the lateral thinking with their technology approach, which is where you take tested technology that's old, that developers are used to using, they can get the most out of it, and you try and do something different with it. Just because they have a handheld, that doesn't mean that Sony and Microsoft are looking at that and saying we have to do that too, because Sony and Microsoft aren't going to use old technology in anything that they do. They're not going to try and lower their costs. They're going to pass those costs on to consumers, and that's why they keep getting into trouble with this high cost of everything. Whoever can figure out that you don't need to spend hundreds and millions of dollars to create a game, you don't need to have the highest end technology, even though there's a consumer base that wants that with PlayStation and they want that with Xbox. There's just no real comparison when it comes to what Nintendo is doing. The only comparison is, yes, they have a handheld, and maybe Microsoft will. There's a huge gulf between how Nintendo does things and how Nintendo and how Xbox and Sony do things.
To that point, you don't go into the market to beat Switch. You go into just a growing market to carve out your own space, right? Because neither PlayStation nor Xbox is ever going to touch Nintendo. Nintendo is the garden ruler of handhelds, right? That is it. That's the way it will be. So you go in there because there's the more demand for it. So you may as well put a product in there so you could get some people in who may not necessarily buy a console, but they'll buy a handheld. Because, you know, younger people coming up now, like playing Fortnite on their phone for whatever reason it is, they like to play it on there, whatever. Not judging. So, you know, people would prefer a more handheld experience, so you may as well get in there.
Right, but there's a huge difference between making a product for a class of consumer and then making a product for the masses of consumers. That's the difference.
Of course, you have to balance the price, but as you can clearly see from Xbox's games, they don't really have the same budgets as PlayStation games. So I would imagine that it probably wouldn't be as costly, like trying to convince a handheld. I mean,
let me ask you this. What do you guys think? When it comes to the handhelds, and I just want to throw this volleyball out there, because you guys you don't even have to answer it if you don't want to. It could be rhetorical. But if Xbox is right, Xbox is saying basically they're going to have Steam on their, I assume their next, whether it be their handheld or their next Xbox console. Well, if I'm Steam, I'm going to say, okay, well then I want to have Game Pass as a native app on my Steam Deck 2 or on my Steam Deck 1. Like, if you already have a few million, 3 million, 4 million, I don't know how many Steam Decks have been sold, but it's done quite well. If they're already out there and they're able to make that negotiation, right? Again, how is it that Maury's asked this question twice? And again, I don't think it's not for anyone on the panel that they have to answer it. Who greenlit this idea? You're talking about a handheld market that's already doing, is it doing okay? It's doing okay. But like the ROG Ally, couple million units sold. Steam Deck, how many? I don't know. Someone look it up, please. 3, 4, 5 million, 6 million units sold. Does Xbox think they're going to launch theirs? And because of what that singer said, all of a sudden someone walks by it and goes, "Oh, there's a ROG Ally that's probably the ROG Ally X, which is more powerful. Oh, but I know the Xbox name, so I'll just get that one." And they're going to sell 50 million handheld units? Probably not. Yeah. So
I think you. The problem is the brand recognition is a key for Xbox, because Xbox.
Yeah, but their brand recognition is their weakest it's ever been.
It is the weakest they've ever been. But it's like Steam Deck is inherently handicapped because you can only buy it through Steam. You can't buy it in the store, right? You have to go through Steam to get your Steam Deck, right?
If I may, I think what we're missing here is we're thinking this thing is going to sell 20 plus million units. When that's not the goal here. It's like the original PlayStation VR that was viewed as a success. It sold north of 4 million units. That's what we're gonna probably see out of something that it's a test bed. It is something that they're saying, hey, is there a market here? It's kind of like what PlayStation saw with the Portal, right? They're like, hey, let's not throw a whole bunch of money at this thing.
It's a companion device, bro.
Yeah, but see,
let's just see if there is something here.
But see, the only issue,
and they've even gone out there and said this was a success. exceeded our expectations.
And it depends on what they do, right? Because it's all hearsay right now, Mr. Babbitt. But you're talking, we said this on the show before the Portal came out. The Portal was priced at $199. That's a very easy holiday gift to put under the tree or to give as a gift, right? $199. So listen, if you have somebody just do a house call for something at your house, they're charging you $110 before they even look at the problem. So my point is people are dropping $100, okay, on pizza and wings. So $199 price tag. This thing that I'm hearing from Xbox, if it's going to be native and play your games and download it and take it on to go and play it natively, this is a $400 minimum item. You know, I mean, that's a completely, probably more than that. I agree.
And that's the thing. The one thing that we don't have, and this is why I never like to talk about like such broad stuff. We don't have all the information.
We don't.
It could be something similar to the Portal. It's $199 and whatever, or it could be, I don't know. How much is the Asus ROG thing? $700,
$699.
I don't know.
I think it
could be that outrageously.
It was $699 when it came out. Maybe now it's down to $599 or $499. But the new one that's coming out is rumored to be $700 again, I believe.
Well, the market is so oversaturated with handheld devices at this moment right now. Xbox needs to, honestly, they need to cancel what the fuck they're thinking about doing and just put all that effort and money and resources into fucking making software. That's it. That's it. Because at the end of the day, there's too many options.
The thing is, the Steam site themselves doesn't give a figure. They just say multiple millions of units sold.
I looked up real quick. It said here, this report estimated that Steam Deck would pass 3 million units sold since its launch during 2023. So there, even if you want to go past that, let's go past that. Let's give them 5 million for now. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm even giving them benefit of the doubt. If you guys want to go higher, go ahead. My point is like Blaze just said, that it's saturated. That's that one. Then there's the ROG Ally. ROG has definitely gained a lot of traction.
And there's the Legion. And then there's all the Chinese ones.
Yeah.
Mooch, I think they're thinking behind this, and I don't know. I'm not in their boardrooms. We're all just kind of spitballing. I think maybe their thinking is, they've sold what? I think the last figure was like 800,000 Xbox Series X's or whatever it was in that time frame. Their console sales are not doing well. And the one thing that Xbox is very, very good at is software. So if they're able to have a hybrid device where you can dock it, take it on the go, bring it home, dock it, I do think that for consumers in certain demographics, that would probably be more appealing than just having a static box. But I will always refer back to the initial point that Blaze and I were talking about earlier. You have to have content in order to entice your consumer base to purchase something new, because your consumer base 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, bought the Xbox Series X or they bought the Xbox Series S. And now you have only released a very select few games that haven't fared very well. And now you're going to come out with another set of hardware to say, hey guys, we need you to fork out a little bit more money. You can do this, and this. And so I will always refer back to, you can come out with as much cool hardware and all that shit that you want to, but if you don't have the games to entice me to go into your ecosystem and play, I don't give a damn what your thing can do. It can reach out and give me a back massage if you want to. I'm not going to buy it. If you don't entice me as a consumer to purchase this product and have the benefits to go along with it, there is no point in me throwing down additional money to get into the Xbox ecosystem when they have shown repeatedly they don't care about that hardware. And I just don't... I don't know, man. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me, is they're trying to get that on-the-go consumer and have them tie into one. They're trying to do that on-the-go and the static in one ecosystem or one piece and try to boost those sales. But I don't know. I wish them the best, man, because at the end of the day, we need competition within the market. It's good, but we need them to make games with all that money and all the investments that they have. And I know we're gonna get into the showcase here in a minute. I do think they're gonna have a good showcase. I really do. And I think that they absolutely need it, because they need to be able to show if you're going to roll out new hardware, you better be able to bring a very solid showcase of the games that your consumers are going to be able to play on that hardware.
And Seeds, believe me, if you go back to my podcast when all these Xbox they gotta have a great showcase. I believe it's going to be a great, and it's just like it comes.
Yeah, we do hear this every year. It's going to be a great podcast.
Purchase all these acquisitions, but the narrative hasn't changed, and the games hasn't either.
Blake,
and the games haven't either. Honestly,
the problem is you're saying oversaturated, but I look.
It is though.
A whole bunch of things. It's not though.
Okay.
It's currently the handheld market is valued at roughly 60 billion. By 2030, it's going to jump to nearly 30 billion because there's a growing demand for handheld. So you need to get in this. You need to get in this market. Because why wouldn't you want to jump in that and have yourself a piece of the pie? You never
is young
because the consumers understand. They understand, like, oh yeah, we understand what Microsoft's. They trying to get a bag. They trying to, you know what I mean? Yeah, we know what they're trying to do. But like at the end of the day, I'm not buying your fucking dog shit handheld device because I know there's going to be nothing to play on it.
Full stop. This is breaking news, and I think this is way more important
what do you
than
got?
anything we've ever talked about. This comes from German Strands. Astrobot will let you play as the Bloodborne hunter outfit.
I knew you were
Oh yeah.
Hey,
he's late to the party. I tweeted that like 4 hours ago.
Holy shit! You know.
Well, listen. So I want to ask.
I am a little bit late, but this is breaking news.
Well, I'm glad.
You
heard it here first from Mr. Badbit, but you may have heard it about 6 hours ago. But nonetheless, D, I want to ask you a question here, and this all pertains to the same situation. D, we keep getting this information that it either comes from like shout out to The Verge or these other outlets that are saying the rumors are coming out and this and that. Why doesn't Xbox just announce their plans with their games? And you could say, well, it's an easy answer, Mooch. They just don't. They want to kind of bleed it out slowly. Why? I think you go 3 weeks, 4 weeks with all of this bad press, podcast, news events. Like a lot of people were saying today on Twitter, they're like, I was excited for Sunday, but now I'm just excited to see what games I'm going to play on PlayStation. It's supposed to be an Xbox showcase. Now people are going to go, when's that coming to PlayStation? And it's like, why don't they just announce their plans? Why are they doing this in such an odd fashion? D, you said it yourself. D, you said I'm almost guaranteeing you Starfield will be on PlayStation either this holiday or shortly thereafter. When they asked Phil about that, he said never discount it, but no plans for Starfield. Like, just say it's coming out later on this year. Like, I don't understand why doesn't Xbox just say it?
It's a lot of PR talk, right? And this is a reason that Tim Dog just got fed up and he's like, I can't stand behind this company because they say one thing and they do another thing. Right now, I think they're just trying to weather out the storm, to be honest with you, because they are going to be bringing more games than people would like over to other platforms. Now, I'm still in this camp that not everything is going to come because that would make absolutely zero sense, but more than we would like would come. And like, honestly, tell you, if Halo pops up, then I don't know what to say because Halo is sacred. So if Halo pops up on the PlayStation, I'm going to have to change my stance and say, I don't know. Will you change? You're right. They need to address it because it's taking away the excitement from Xbox fans for their show that's coming up on Sunday. So you need to address it. And at the very least, I don't even think they're going to address it on the show because that just wouldn't be the thing to do. No. But I think the train's left the station and it is what it is. And they're going to have a banger of a show. And I got to say this to all the PlayStation guys saying that games are going to come. Yes, games are going to come, but they're not going to be coming day and date. Maybe there's going to be the odd one that's from a third-party developer that they bought.
It all takes development time and
they're not going to
shit over too.
Right. I agree with you there, D.
D, can I ask you a question, man? If they do Gears of War port over to PC, like if they announce a Gears collection, not Gears 6, but if they do a Gears collection, would that concern you as much as Halo, or would it just kind of get you closer to that point of Halo's probably coming?
Same thing. I would even say Gears.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I wanted.
More traction in Halo right now because the Gears franchise kind of took over for Halo. The last Halos have kind of been disappointing, and it doesn't matter if it's an older game. Sure, they're gonna generate revenue, and sure, some fans might not care because it's older, but that's just setting it up for Gear 6 and future Gears of iterations of Gears, and now they've introduced it to another player base, and those are good games. And there's some people that are PlayStation all the way, and they don't mess with Xbox and they don't play Xbox games because they're strictly on the PlayStation console. So it's going to be a new experience for them. They're going to enjoy it, and then they're going to want a sequel. And then, the newer versions of those games, it would make sense for them to bring it to that platform because they already introduced that whole set of gamers to the franchise. So it's a slippery slope. I understand that they want to make money. I understand a lot. Like I came to this realization when they started bringing games to PlayStation that, listen, these guys, they bought a lot of companies, developers that published third-party games, and that's the whole model of their games. So for that company that they've absolved, in order for them to remain successful, their games are going to have to continue to be on other platforms. So a lot of these studios, like, we're hearing Doom's going to be on there, which would make sense because Doom was always on the PlayStation. Why are you going to take it off the PlayStation when you're going to get a lot more revenue? You're still going to have it on Xbox.
So you're okay with Doom? D-Bat, you cool with Doom coming to PlayStation?
Yeah, I'm okay with Doom coming to PlayStation. Yes,
that's crazy. And I get it. It's always been on PlayStation.
From a financial standpoint, it doesn't make sense because Doom is a good title, but Doom is not a fucking system seller. So people are not going to say, "Oh, it's just on Xbox, so I'm just going to get on Xbox on PC." They're just not going to care.
I think id Software and Doom is like, along with the Coalition and Gears, is like the last two, games that I have somewhat trust into. I think you're downplaying Doom. I'm not saying it's this massive juggernaut, but it's up there.
It's a good game, but Doom was always a third party game. It's going to remain a third party game for them to make the revenue because they've absorbed.
I understand, but you bought it. You fuck. It's like me buying your house and then you coming over every Saturday night. Like, you mind if I sleep over? Like, no.
They bought it. They bought it with the intention of keeping it third party. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They bought it with the intention of keeping it on PlayStation to get that revenue. To keep it on PC, get that revenue, and to put it in a Game Pass service to give value to the Xbox gamer and to drive subscribers to that service.
I just want you to know, D, I know you just came back and whatnot. They put a Bloodborne Hunter in the Astrobot game. He's not wearing any pants. Totally pantsless. Dig the vibe though.
Now it's a party.
You know what I find crazy is that show was, I'm sorry, PlayStation fans, that show was horrible. I see some guys, it was an 8 out of 10. I don't know what the hell you're watching.
That show was a 3 out of 10 all day. And I'm
what show?
Listen, here's the thing. That Astrobot was a highlight of the show. If you guys, I'm sure you guys have played the original, man. It's a pretty fun game, man, especially with the haptic controller. Like, I don't think any game has taken advantage or I felt the same sense that I have with that game. Maybe Resident Evil had some elements, but still, it's not the full complete thing. So a lot of people are excited for that game. I think it's a great platformer, and that was the highlight of the show. But that show was great.
And I think I agree. It was not their best foot forward. I have been talking kind of behind the scenes today about Concord, and that game is not my cup of tea. Like, I've said it before. My PvP reflexes are like two turtles fucking. So. I'm incredibly slow at this stage of my life, but I will say I was extremely leery of them doing that game. But the way that they are setting it up and some of the things that they're trying to do with the esports, I would keep an eye on Concord. It might not be everyone's cup of tea.
It's not no.
I would keep an eye on it.
I'll tell you right now.
This is actually something I'm really.
It ain't gonna be for me, but I would keep an eye on it.
Because someone's like, "Oh, you're only excited for Concord because you think they'll give you a code." PlayStation's never given me jack shit. They'll never return an email of me. We're not friends. We're not on goddamn speaking terms. And I just love games and I want to champion developers. God forbid I'm excited for something. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I am very hesitant to say if a multiplayer game is going to be, good or not, especially after just seeing a trailer. The reason why I say that is a week prior to Helldivers, I was like, I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, and they're just like, man, I don't know. Sony, remember they did no marketing towards it. It felt like they just left it out there to die. There's nothing that's, in the trailers that made it solely unique and different and whatnot. And then it is the fastest selling PlayStation game ever.
Dude, we had so many, Mr. Badbit. You were on this show, Mr. Badbit, plenty of those weeks before that game came out.
Right.
And I said, I said,
and I'll eat shit on it.
We all said it wasn't going to be.
For me, it's like
we thought it wasn't going to be great, but we all said I'm going to give it a shot. It
no,
looks like
I
it's
knew it was
going
to be great, bro. I was out there. I was out there saying it months ahead of time.
Yeah,
bro.
well, Blaze, no, that's what
Blaze
I
out
said.
There blazing the goddamn trail, but not I.
People asked me on the show. They said, "Are you going to get it?" I said, "Day one." You guys can go back and listen to the show. Right. I said it. I said, "I'm buying it day one. Looks like a lot of fun." And I said the same thing, like Mr. Bit saying with Concord, may not, or what Seeds was just saying, may not be for everyone. Right? Ended up being for everybody. Right? A lot of people. But I'm just trying to say to you, like, this is another situation. And I was going to go a little bit into the Xbox showcase, but since we, Dee brought up Concord, or not Concord, but he brought up the state of play. Yeah. Okay. I mean, and Blaze, we said this last week. I remember you asked me the question on Solidcast. An hour later, you're like, dude, I got to ask you again. Mooch, did you say $40? And I said, it needs to match Helldivers 2's cost. It has to. That's what they kind of set a bar for.
I remember you said $39.99. Yeah, the better. Yeah,
$39.99. That's what it has to be, and here it is.
The difference between Concord and Helldivers, though, is Helldivers it was just unique. There's not really anything like Helldivers. You know what I mean? Concord, on the other hand, is there's many other options. If
absolutely.
You want to play
they're trying to. I was kind of talking to a guy behind the scenes today. They are trying to utilize that game to get Sony ingrained into, or at least have one property ingrained into the esports side, and to have a competitive multiplayer. The reason that they made that game and kind of it got brought up in boardroom, so to speak, is because they saw Overwatch was not pulling the crowd that it was used to pulling, and they saw an opportunity to go in there. And some of the things that they're going to do, again, it is not going to be for me. And Overwatch was not for me. But I do think that $40 price point, it's going to have, I'm rattling off the top of my head because I don't have it in front of me, but 16 playable characters. They're not going to be locked behind a paywall. There is going to be a battle pass. I was told probably about 2 months after release is when Season 1 is going to start. There'll be a battle pass. There's also going to be a ranking system in a competitive mode. They're going to start
like Overwatch to me.
Yeah, they're going to start out with six game modes. There's going to be like team deathmatch, so on and so forth. They're going to add game modes as you go. They're also going to add characters. They're going to add maps, and from my understanding, the additional content that comes in later is included in the $40 price tag. So you're not going to have to pay for additional. You'll have to pay obviously for the battle pass, and I don't know that number right now. Whenever I do get it, I'll put it out there. But I don't know enough about that market and those games to say, hey, $40 is too much. But I do think that with the gunplay we saw, I mean, two of the developers that were on this game came from Destiny 2. If you saw those hand cannons, if you guys go back and watch that trailer and you see those hand cannons pop, that's got Destiny 2 written all over it. So I do think that you're going to get a good amount of players who are going to come in it because it feels good. It's a good feeling shooter. So
here's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's worth keeping an eye on.
Here's the thing, right? So I'm skeptical to say this game, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever. I'm skeptical, but then I'm also, while I'm excited for the game because I genuinely think it looks rad, I'm not. My head's not so far up my ass that I can't see that this thing has a boulder that it's pushing uphill, right? So like I'm cautiously optimistic for the game. There's some tremendous talent behind it, and I'll see. But like, no one thought Fortnite was going to be. No one thought Travis Scott would be doing a concert in Fortnite.
Exactly.
Right? Nobody, like, Apex Legends.
This is the thing I want to say. We all have short-term memory. Mr. Babbitt knocks this out of the park right now. Like, and listen, Blaze said this. We said it on Solidcast, right? Like, yes, Extraction was refreshing, but not new. It was refreshing. Does Concord give anything new? Not necessarily off the gate, but hear me out. X-Defiant was doing killer numbers on Steam. It was doing killer numbers on Twitch. I think it still does pretty decent numbers. I looked the other day, 30,000 people watching it the other day. And you know what? It doesn't even have team deathmatch. And people are like, if X-Defiant had deathmatch, it'd be even better. This game's coming out with their version of deathmatch and their version of I don't know if it's captured. What is it there? With the tags.
It's you got domination, and then so you're gonna have domination, TDM, team deathmatch.
You got. I can't remember. I never remember what it's called when you in Call of Duty where you go around and grab the dog tags there, whatever.
Kill confirmed.
Kill confirmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's all going to be there day one. Now I'm not saying it's not revolutionary, but X Defiance not revolutionary. People have been always looking for another game that's a ton of fun. That's not Call of Duty multiplayer. And is this going to be that? Maybe. I don't know.
I saw today when that information came up with all the different modes, I saw a lot of people's attitude actually change on the game. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Yeah, exactly.
I actually wanted this mode to be in my multiplayer game. So I wouldn't. It looked like graphically it looks good. I'm not really sold on the idea, but if it plays good and all those modes are fun, then gamers will start talking about it, and then that's how the hype starts. I didn't have high expectations for Helldivers 2. I wasn't like it looked cool, but I wasn't. I was like,
that's what I'm saying. Everybody loves being Monday.
What was that game where the movie where they fight the aliens?
Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
Starship Troopers.
It's just like that. So like whatever.
But everybody
was remembering about it, and they were getting hyped about it. And I said, okay, let me try this game. I tried. I said, oh shit, this game is good. So
I think this game has a good market on PC for it. I think it's going to do well on PC. And by the way, Overwatch 2 is free. Marvel Rivals is free, I think, and they got the Star Wars Overwatch clone. So all of a sudden there's going to be, these games are coming out rapidly. They're going to be close. So but $40 like you said is a good price where it's like, damn, if I spend $40, you know what I mean? So I don't think too many people will be upset if they play it.
Yeah, $40 is not bad.
You know what I mean? The thing is, your guys on Steam, I mean, if you pay $40 and you get on there, you got 2 hours to figure out if you want to return it.
More than that. They don't even give a shit.
Yeah, more than that. But the other thing is, there's a beta in July, so we're going to get a lot of feedback. From my understanding, the beta, when you go in, you're going to be able to play. I believe it's four of the modes you're going to have access to, and I believe you're going to have access to half of the characters to be able to kind of check them out. They may open it up to all. Again, it was just kind of some preliminary extra information I was getting today from someone at the studio. And so I do think that the beta is going to give us a pretty good idea of how it's going to fare. If you pre-order the game, I'm not telling anybody to do it or not. I don't give a shit what you do with your money. But if you do, you get 5 beta codes to give out to other people. So when you pre-order the game, you get your copy to get into the beta, plus they give you 5 beta codes to give to, maybe it's 4. I have to check again.
5.
It's either 4 or 5.
That's 5. You have 5 beta codes.
Yeah, 5
I think
codes.
Beta codes are risky. I think having a beta is risky. So they must be pretty confident in their gameplay because
they're pretty confident in it.
You know what it is? Like having a beta and I play the game and I don't like it. Like now you just lost a customer where if never got to play that game and it comes out and you know what? Yeah, I'm bored. I got nothing to play. I'll pick this game up. There's a difference, but so
I think
I don't know.
Well, this game is going to do well. I think it's going to do well on PC because of course we got the Steam storefront. I don't know if they're going to put it in Epic. Also, you're going to have key sites, so a lot of people are going to get it. I think it's going to do good on. I think it's going to do good on PC. And if you look at Helldivers did better on PC than it did on PlayStation. And Sony's playing like this double game too, where they're like, no, we're not PC, but this game's coming day and date. And then we just found out that the Lego Horizon is going to be coming to PC and PlayStation day and date. So it's kind of getting.
You guys excited for that?
I'm not.
I don't really. Let's be honest.
I don't do the Lego thing, but
hey,
Mooch.
Yeah.
Mooch, it takes me out of it too much. Like they got a blockhead and their blockhead gets knocked off.
So, Singer, I want to hear your take on it. But Blades made a really good point. I just want to say one thing. So the reason that I also think that they're doing the beta codes, okay, is real. This is a smart strategy if you think about it. This is a 5v5 or 6v6, guys. Tell me about it. Multiplayer 5v5 game, right? So 5v5, thank you. So my whole point is, so Blaze, let's say I'm big on this game right now, right? And I pre-order it. You're like, Mooch, I'm on the fence at best, right? All of a sudden I give you a code, BRAP a code. Shout out to BRAP who's here with us too. D, I give Mr. Badbit Worry a code. Now we're playing as a team, right? And maybe 2 of you out of the 5 I give it to are like, yo, I can get down with this. You guys gonna play this? So because if you just pre-ordered it and got it yourself and you go into the beta alone when you're with 4 strangers, you're gonna be like, really good gunplay, but I didn't have a lot of fun. They want
it
you
hits
to bring
different with friends, bro.
Yeah, they want you to bring those friends in with you and have that experience. And if you have that experience, which is exactly what D and Singer were saying a second ago, all of a sudden now you are more inclined to pick that game up. I told you, I was playing Helldivers 2, Blaze. We were playing first 2 months nonstop. My friends that only play Warzone and they play Madden, that's what they play. They're like, why are you on this Helldivers thing every night? I'm like, buddy, it's fun. I said it's $39. What do? They picked it up. They played for 2-3 months. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're still on it like it was when it was hot when it first came out, but they picked it up because friends said, get into it. You got to try it out. They played it. This gives that opportunity for those 5 friends for $0. They get to try that for nothing, where the one person who was hardcore about it did the down payment. Go ahead, Singer. I took the mic from you.
All right. So, promise I have with this game is, first of all, I'll tackle the esports thing. I am heavily into esports. My favorite org is G2, Esports, European Club. Now, the problem I have is making this an esport. You have to get these people to care. Now, G2 are literally games. League of Legends, the biggest esport in the world, unquestionably. Counter-Strike 2, very good. Then you have Rocket League. Okay, yeah, people care about that. Valorant, of course.
Right.
You know, all of these games are Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, super successful games. So this game has to achieve those numbers of those games just listed.
They don't, though. They don't. If they could take a fraction of each of those, that's a success.
Yeah, bro. I mean, they were trying to get foam stars into esport. So
Rogue Company was esports. That Singer, Rogue Company had esports, bro.
But if you want to be successful, you need to get all the orgs and the fans to care about your game, right?
Bro, but as long as they can grab a bunch from each party and build their own fan base, they're fine, bro. I hate this is the thing about new multiplayer. Everything's got to be. It's never going to be as big as Fortnite. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? As long as it's sustainable and people are playing it, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
But then
it doesn't have to be number one. It doesn't have to be in the top 5. Like what is the thing that we constantly forget when we have these conversations? Like, what do we think the metric of success for this game is? Because if it is like tackling Fortnite, it's like that's not it. It's like, where is it in Sony's mind's eye? Where is success for this game? What's success for this studio? That's the important thing. Again, like when we talk about all these super successful multiplayer games, what do they all have in common? They're really fun to play.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing that's going to be detrimental to this game. It's going to live and die on its gameplay. Okay, when you talk about like games like Counter-Strike Go, you talk about games like Valorant. I take a look at this game and go, oh wow, it very much has more Valorant vibes than Overwatch vibes. Right? Like it seems like their specials are more utility based than like let me clear the map based. So it's like, yeah, why can't a game akin to a Valorant be successful on a console? I don't see why not.
It can be successful. The problem is, I don't see it doing anything unique. The abilities look straight out of Valorant, because Valorant, if you play
Death Singer, but look at what's on screen right now. I'm playing. This is X Defiant. I'm playing. Like, there's nothing here that would. Like, there's no reason for me to not put this game down and go play multiplayer Call of Duty. There's no reason that there's nothing here that really makes me go. But this game, I gotta be honest with you, it's more vibrant. It's more colorful. It's. I like the speed of it. I like the pacing. I think they have to work on a few things.
Somewhat refreshing a little bit.
Refreshing a little bit because it's just different. And I'll tell you, if you guys, everyone said that was too long for us. First of all, I didn't get a chance to say this, guys. It was a state of play, not a showcase. Okay, I think I gave it a 6.5. It's a state of play. If it was a showcase, it would have been a lower number. But hear me out. The thing about Concord was, go back and watch the 10 minutes or the 6 minutes of the first part of the show. One of the first things the dev said was, we spent an enormous amount of time on the gun mechanics and the gameplay. We wanted this to be crisp. And I said this to Blaze. I really do believe that Bungie probably even helped them out a bit.
Yeah, you did.
This game, I think, is legitimately, I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm just saying I bet you it actually has good mechanics. If they took time to say that, it's polished. And it looks good.
Two of the guys, Josh, I can't think of his last name. He was involved in Destiny 2 in developing and polishing the gunplay. Like that was some of the stuff that he oversaw. I can't think of his last. Someone in chat's probably going to correct me or comment it later. I know his first name's Josh, but he came from Bungie.
Yeah.
And so when you look at that game, again, guys, like it's not going to be my shit. Like I will probably get a code for it and be able to check it out. But it's not going to be something that I am in all the time because it's just not my cup of tea. But I'm saying if you take the gunplay and it feels good, and it feels good to play with a group of buddies, and you can get into that thing, and they even get a fraction.
Not just that, Seeds. Not just that, but if you guys stop, I mean, I know that a lot of people on the show here, they don't watch a lot of Twitch, but do me a favor, like if you guys start to watch that, the Twitch streamers they're always so hungry for new games for their audience. And if the game actually plays well, they will play that game. And when streamers that have millions of people following them are playing that, at least even if for the first few months, it really is, it's the longevity of getting the masses and the casual to pick the game up. I'm not saying that this could be a flop. I'm just saying to you that
it could be.
$40
price
could be. It could be.
My problem with the game is I see Valorant in it, I see Overwatch, and I see Destiny, and it's all slapped together, and I'm not entirely sure how all this melds together to create a good game.
Okay.
Because it's clearly taken a lot of influences from Overwatch, Valorant, and Destiny. Sure. You can clearly tell that from the trailer.
As every game does. You know what I mean? All games copy each other somewhat.
Yeah, they do. But it's how they pull it off, then are you... Because also you're battling for time, because we're multiplayer. Like, for me, I suffer from this. Time is the commodity they're fighting for, because I like to play League of Legends. I like to play Fortnite. I like to play AoE. I like to play single-player games. No, fantastic games. But the problem is, I only have, let's say I have 8 hours to game, right? So I just list you four games that are multiplayer games.
Yes.
And I want to play single-player games as well. So now you have to fight for the time. So how, as someone who does this, I don't have the time to play Concord, even if it was a good game.
So,
but Concord. I mean, right off.
You just described any game that has ever come out in the history of ever. You know, like why did I play Brotato today when I could have been playing Diablo 4? Because like I wanted to turn my brain off. Again, that's their job to sell you over time. I would assume we have a couple of more vignettes and maybe even like a dedicated state of play for this game. And again, as I'm advocating for, I very much am aware that this game could totally come out and eat shit, right?
Right.
But like I'm not here to shit on something, just to shit on it. That said, though, as much as like I'm the only person that enjoyed that state of play, I gotta just say, like, shout out to our boy. You enjoyed Astrobot, that, right? What's that?
You enjoyed the full state of play?
Mr. Badbit is the most positive.
I think if I had to give it a number, like a 6, sure. But like I saw,
all right, a 6 is fair. Okay,
yeah. I mean, when I measure like a showcase, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna like. This was the state of play they gave me 24 hours to prepare. I was not thinking I was going to Ghost of Tsushima in this thing, right? So, like, I saw, like, games like, Monster Hunter, Concord, Astrobot, Where the Winds Meet, and I'm like, okay, these are 4 games I'm going to definitely try out, if not play on day one. Cool, there's 14 games showed. Now I'm going to play 4 or 5 of them day one. That's a good showcase.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rant or rave about it, but like 9 times out of 10, I forget what's in any state of play or Xbox Direct afterwards. I all I can tell you is last state of play, you had the Death Stranding trailer with the Puppet Man that I've memed and Fizznet. And I don't even think I'm pronouncing that right.
Now, you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but just so you know, I just pulled up Twitch right now. XDefiant right now. 22.6 thousand viewers watching XDefiant, and just so you guys know, Call of Duty Warzone 37,000 right now. And I haven't even scrolled down far enough to see what Call of Duty just multiplayer right now has on their stream. Here it is, Warzone. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer 10.3. What does XDefiant offer? And I'll just and Singer, I'm just putting you on the hot seat real quick. What does XDefiant offer? You're seeing the gameplay right now. They're actually offering less modes, less game modes, not as good and not as crisp game mechanics as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer, and they currently have 12,000 more viewers on Twitch. I'm not saying that's a say-all, end-all. I'm just saying they've been...
and bad net code as well, they have.
Right. So, I mean, the thing is when you say if a game has good play and it feels good and you actually get people, there's a chance. And I think that it was, now, if they did this thing at $70, we got a problem. This is a whole nother conversation. A lot of people are saying free to play. Sometimes free to play, I don't know. You might say free to play is the way to go. That's fine, because X Defiant's free to play. But I mean, in all honesty, I think when it comes down to it, sometimes free to play tells me not a lot of confidence sometimes. You know, a lot of free-to-play games go to die. Yeah. So
then again, you don't know the longevity of X Defiant, right? Because it's the new thing out right now. But how much player retention do you actually keep, right? Because sure, someone could be playing. Let's say they're a Call of Duty head, right? And they're bored at the moment. They're waiting for Black Ops 6, right? They're done. They've checked out mentally from the latest Call of Duty. They're just playing it because that's what they always play. Now they go, oh, I'll try X Defiant, let's go. As soon as Black Ops 6 drops, they drop in X Defiant, going back on Black Ops again for the next 8 months. So what will the retention rate be? Because we see games coming out of the gate with a lot of players, but then they fall off. So
yeah, I mean that's all gas. That's gas games, bro. There's a risk in every gas game, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's any game. We don't know what's going to do well and what's not. I do think the one thing we know about PlayStation as a whole, those motherfuckers. It's a new month, right? Yep, there's my F-bomb for the month. So they do not care about canceling something. We just saw them cancel factions. So, you know, they have seen something within this game that they believe, yes, this has some form of formula in it that they believe is going to hook an audience. We don't know how big that audience is going to be. It may never be the size of I can hear myself twice, and that's definitely scary.
It's D. I think D's got a speaker on.
Oh, my bad.
It's all right, D. Go ahead,
my head's on today.
But we don't ever know how it's going to perform. But you know, going into this, I don't know that they are even expecting it to be at the level of a League of Legends or any of that, but I do know that they have a desire to get this game into that esports world, and I think Blaze may have said it. I think that if the gunplay is really crisp and the modes are fun, I do think you'll have teams within that world, and that's totally foreign to me, but I do think that you will have dudes that want to compete at that level if the gunplay is nice and crisp. I mean, these fuckers, these guys are out here playing League of Legends. I'd rather get kicked in the nuts for a minute straight than play.
You ain't lying, boy.
If the gunplay is as good as it could be, they could have a surprise hit here because there is Overwatch 2 it didn't sell well, and we're basing it on let's just be honest, as well, for myself as a gamer, I saw the trailer, I was like, oh shoot, this looks fire, and I was like, oh no, it's PvP. It's like, oh, and it took the wind out of everybody's sail because it wasn't what we were expecting, right? However, if it plays good, we could have a different story here. So we're just judging on the initial reaction, which wasn't great because they kind of baited us to thinking it was a different type of game before they revealed what it really was. But in the end, if it plays well, it's fun. That's what it really matters, right?
100%.
And D-Batch, what I was gonna say, Mooch, is on Solidcast, we were like, because at first I was like, Concord, I don't know about it, and I still really don't know about it. But I'll say this: I said to Mooch, like, damn, why? This got a lot of airtime, right?
A lot of airtime, yeah.
And then we both came to the conclusion, like, look, I'm sure there's a few gas games at PlayStation, and PlayStation looked like this is absolutely the most polished one. This is ready to go, right out the door. And listen, the fact, again, I'll stress it, the fact that they have a beta, okay, and the fact they're saying invite this, I'm telling you, they're confident in the product, bro. Yep. They absolutely are. There's no way. Even watching it, you might not be into hero shooters because I'm not, but watching that game, it looks absolutely polished.
Yes,
it does.
Yeah, you might say the game's not for you, but I don't think you're going to say the gameplay and everything let you down. You're just going to say I'm just not going to pick it up. Which is, by the way, that's a reasonable answer. Singer, finish what you're going to say. I want to get BRAP's take on this, and I got some super chats. By the way, thank you for those super chats, guys. We're going to get to them right now. Go ahead, Singer.
To the Sector Seed's point. For esports, for the vast majority to be successful, you have to capture Asia, right? South Korea and China specifically, because if you go into a South Korean PC bong that's on the street, the first 2 games you will see as soon as you sit down on a computer will be League of Legends, Valorant, right there in front of your eyes, all installed on everything. And bear in mind, their culture over there is they're treated like Michael Jordan. Esports players are treated like Michael Jordan, right? That's what they are over there. So that is also another thing. You have to convince them, oh, play this game, which they might do. I mean, they might not. It might just stay a Western thing. And that might just be it, because if you look at it.
And it's funny, Singer, what you're saying really does hold water too, because Sony has a huge interest in Evo, right? I mean, that's theirs. So, like, it is a big part of their world. They're marketing to double dip there for sure. I got the great Otacon Ocelot. He says, sounds like Xbox is changing into a type of Android OS. Some of these are older guys. We're going to get back to the Xbox showcase right after this. Shout out to Ocelot. I appreciate that. Now, Warawana, I don't agree with D. You know, of course, he's critiquing you a bit. He says people like D who are so in love with Xbox seem to understand Xbox the least. He said, hell, in December, he even said Xbox games were absolutely not going to PlayStation. Now, D, I don't remember you saying that, but the audience has an impeccable memory.
My stance was, I don't know what I said back then, but when the news came out, I said that these games are coming. And I also said when people thought it was only going to be those games, that no, it's going to be more than those games, more than people will be happy about. I just don't think that all of them will come. And I'm still under the stance that not all of them will come, but I think a high amount of them will.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Shout out to Full Sweat, Try Hard. I appreciate the super chat, guys. Super chat's working. It's a miracle. He says, where have I seen this before? Microsoft, he puts the $sign for the yes. He says, noticing a trend and trying to copy it. Inevitably, only to drop support shortly after it flops. Microsoft Phone, Zune, Mixer. Anyone, he says, this handheld is DOA. Ocelot's back, he says, Xbox, right? I mean, they have put their foot into a lot of different pools, and
they're the Grim Reaper, bro.
The minute it gets cold, they pull their foot out. Absolutely. Xbox needs to walk out there on the show and whip it out in front of the world. Don't hide what goes where, and show the logos as play free on Game Pass. So Ocelot's saying, talk your talk. Say that you can play your games on Game Pass, but these will be on PlayStation. Just say what's actually happening. The great Jay Bari, you guys know from What's Up PlayStation. Shout out to Jay. He says, Xbox is the best box. Let's go Xbox. This is my favorite Xbox podcast. Who's yelling? Shout out to the great Jay Bari. Outstanding to have Jay here. Absolutely.
Mooch, unfortunately, I got to step out now. I got to go into the office. Thanks for having me, guys. All right.
Well, D, listen, if everything ends a little early, we are going to be talking about the Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase. So if for some reason you can pop back in, you know you have the keys here. So you can jump right back in. Great to have the great D back with us. D, let everybody know where they can find you. I appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, no problem. You can find me on X at D_batch. You can find me on YouTube at dbatch. I'll be streaming the Summerfest events, and I'll be streaming the Microsoft event, so you can come over to my channel. We don't really talk too much during those streams. We just enjoy it and then react a little bit. So, yeah, it's going to be a great weekend for gamers. And Xbox guys, don't worry. It should be a good show. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, we'll get to that bridge when we have to cross it. All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, D. So, BRAP, I'll go to you here. BRAP, did you want to, if you have any comments on Concord, I'll let you wrap that up. Otherwise, we're going to go over to the showcase and start talking about the Xbox Showcase predictions and what we think will or will not be said as far as any PlayStation representation or moving games over to there as the show goes on Sunday afternoon. BRAP, any comments on Concord before we go over?
No, I don't have any comments on Concord. Okay. Do have a lot to say about the Xbox Showcase, though.
Oh, well, then let's go right to it. And you're on the hot seat, BRAP. So here's the thing. So Xbox Showcase, Summer Game Fest, right? Both of them, you can kind of combine them together because I think actually Xbox's show is going to be better than the Summer Game Fest. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. What does Xbox need to prove to its customers after the current layoffs and things that have gone on, Tango Gameworks closing down and bringing games to PlayStation? What do they have to show you, and what do they need to say, BRAP, for it to be what we would consider overall a successful show?
So I think, I said this on BRAP last night, which goes live every Wednesday night.
Nice plug.
At 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it was a great show. We had special guests, Nate and Fuzzy Belvedere on. And, apologize, I'm a little congested, so if I sound off,
when you're congested, you sound more like a radio star, BRAP. Go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you, Mooch.
Absolutely.
No, as we said this on the show yesterday, they're according to Grub, they're going to have about 30 games. And I'm a bit more optimistic about this show than I have been about previous Xbox showcases in years past. I mentioned that last night as well. And the reason being is that they have a lot of studios now. And so I got to imagine with the amount of studios that they have that there's stuff in the pipeline that they're working on. There's a couple games I'm interested in getting updates on. Perfect Dark Zero, Everwilds. If Rare, I know that game was having some development issues from Rare. More Indiana Jones. This goes on. I mean,
they have such a big list of games now in their war chest right now, BRAP. I really do believe that games like this is my guess. I don't think Fable. I don't think Indiana Jones maybe Indiana Jones gets a snippet, but they did a very large showing of that at their last Xbox. It wasn't a showcase, but whatever they did, their direct. And that was so. I don't think you see things that are things like Fable that are years out. I think State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, right?
I was going to say State of Decay 3. Yeah,
Gear 6.
Gear 6. I mean, that's the other game that's being rumored right now. That's another one that.
But do you think we see gameplay, or we see like a trailer, like I want to say CGI, but not gameplay? Because I think Gear 6 is probably still at best next holiday at best.
Yeah, I mean, there's speculation out there that they're going to reveal like a Gears collection. Again, who knows if this is true, but people are speculating that, and then that will be the thing that kind of kicks off Gear 6. We'll get like a teaser trailer, but I'm looking forward to a Gear 6. The Gears collection is not something that I would be interested in unless it was a full on like remake. But I think for me the messaging piece is going to be interesting because this is the first time, and Logic brought this up yesterday on BRAP as well. Like, we haven't really heard from Phil Spencer really since the Xbox business update.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see who they put out there to showcase or discuss some of the games. Sarah Bond's kind of been more.
I think it's Sarah. Yeah, I think Sarah's going to be on the stage. Or on the screen first. I think Phil, he may make a cameo. I don't think he'll have nearly the airtime.
Where's Don Matrick, bro? Get him back.
Where's Donnie D?
Donnie D.
Donnie D, baby.
But the one thing with speaking of Donnie, just messaging. And we talked about this last night. Like, I think they should just rip the Band-Aid off. Like,
yes.
Any game that they show, the conversation or the question is going to be, is it coming to PlayStation?
Right.
And just stop, just rip the Band-Aid off. Like, I think everyone knows, and I think everyone here on the panel would agree that they are moving in a vastly different direction now. I think I heard D-Batch say he doesn't think all games are going to come. I think all games will come eventually to other platforms.
Yeah.
Satcha's like, look, I don't agree with the idea of exclusivity, and we want to bring Microsoft one of their their identity as an organization is we want to go where the consumers are, and Xbox is starting to do that now. And so why would you? It just doesn't make sense to me to bring some and not all.
Right.
Bring in all, especially when they're having issues selling hardware. We know about that, and we talked about that on the show. That's not going to get any better. I mean, they're tracking behind the Xbox 360 now in terms of sales. They were tracking behind the Xbox One prior. The Microsoft CFO Amy Hood's like, yeah, we're expecting negative growth even next quarter. So if you can't sell hardware, you have problems selling software. And so if that's the direction they're going, just be like, hey, you know what? And I think for them, if I was in their position, I would rip the Band-Aid off, and I would say, hey, but you know what? We're going to have these games. Yes, they're going to other platforms, but we have this thing called Game Pass, and yeah, they're going to go to other platforms, but those guys have to pay $70. You guys don't. It's quote unquote free, and I would beat that drum. Hey, yes, it's going to other platforms, but hey, you can play free here, and plus, you got Call of Duty. We have 300 plus games. That's the value proposition that I would be driving home. Yeah.
See, BRAP, I'm getting mad. I'm not even an Xbox fan, and I'm mad hearing you say that. You know what I mean? I'd be like, what the fuck is this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm talking about the whole Game Pass thing. No, they are. Absolutely. Yeah. That's absolutely the direction they're going. But, other than a few franchises, I don't give a fuck about all their library. You know what I mean? Other than like the Gears, maybe Halo, Forza. Like I hate to say those three over and over again because that's been the running joke. Yeah. But like I don't care about their other franchises.
By the way, I agree only in the gaming community can we use the word free that costs $203 a year. But that's fine. Please go ahead.
I agree with BRAP in terms of pulling off the Band-Aid because what's going to happen is they're going to do the show, and then right after that, you're going to have interviews. And so all of those interviews, that number one question, I mean, how many times are you going to do interviews over and over and over again? They're going to ask you, hey, which one of these are these titles staying on the platform? You know, what are they going to play? Like, I think that they have to figure out some way to do this messaging to where they don't get bombarded after the show. And it's just questions of, well, what's going, what's staying, you know, so on and so forth.
Seeds, this is
you don't think it's going to happen either way, though?
No,
They're going to be bombarded.
Man, I think
people are going to be upset either way.
I think
you know, guys, this is not going to be bombarded at all. This is already a planned out event. You can already see. I think it's McCaffrey that has the rights, right? Yep. IGN. They're going to have one meeting with the heads of like Phil or Sarah or Matt. They're going to go over it once. And then it won't be. They can. Other agencies will ask. Other outlets will ask, but they won't have time with Phil or Sarah. I think that's exclusive to IGN, and it's one time. That's my take. That's my thought. Anyways, that's my take.
I don't mean to interrupt Steve, but to Steve's point, like I agree with him. Like, get in front of it because
I agree.
Someone may ask that question, and then it's like, well, you know, just for right now, it's those 4 games. We're back to that again, you know, and just get in front of it. Like, rip the Band-Aid off. Like, I think they need to, at least with their fans, and just in general, say, look, this is who we are. This is our DNA. This is the direction we're going. This is what you can expect from us, you know, and that's it. Yeah. I mean, and that way, there's no room for interpretation. I mean, like with Nintendo and Sony, we never have these conversations. We know what their game plan is. We know what they're going to deliver.
Yeah.
I mean, like PlayStation's their business segment conference that they had, call whatever it was. They were very clear, concise about the direction of PlayStation.
Yeah, they are.
And that's what I think Xbox needs to do. There's too much fumbling and messaging and double talk, and then Phil saying one thing and then doing something else. It has to stop.
Can I say something, Brave?
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Babbitt.
It's something I alluded to earlier. They just gotta stop talking. I used to hate when I still hate it. What am I talking about? You know, PlayStation doesn't say a goddamn word to us, and then they give us a couple of lukewarm state of plays and stuff, and they're like, that'll hold you over for 6 months.
I agree, but right now they have to say, I agree with you. They need to get to that point, and I think they're trying to because, you know, they started off. 100%. We've talked about a few times, like they had that grassroots movement of, you know, hugging and kissing and doing all this other crap with creators, and that turned out not to be the best approach. And now they're trying to get to where PlayStation is, where they don't tell us, but they have to. I guess they don't have to. They can do whatever the hell they want, but they need to transition to that point. And I think if Ryan McCaffrey, I hate name dropping, but. Yeah, but if McCaffrey's the only one that's going to be able to answer or ask questions, I hate name dropping, but the only thing we're going to get out of Phil Spencer is what he had for breakfast and what he enjoys doing after the show.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. He ain't going to ask him shit, you know.
I
don't think he will.
More hope.
Not a big fan of Ryan either, bro. Be real.
I don't think he'll. Again, if he does, I'll come on here and be like, "Hey, man, I was wrong. He did a great job." But I do not think he will pin him in a corner and say, "Okay."
I think I do think he'll ask him I do think that the question will come up. He'll do one of those things where, Phil, it's time for that part of the interview where it's a little uncomfortable, but how many of these games that we saw today are going to end up going to PlayStation? And then Phil will be like, well, Ryan, we kind of discussed that back in February, and right now it's a case-by-case basis. Right now we don't have any permanent plans to bring everything to any other platform other than Xbox and Game Pass and wherever Game Pass is offered. However, things could change in the future.
CrossFire, Phil?
That's it. I mean, that's what's going to happen. That's legitimately how it's going to go down. And then after that, he's not doing any. I don't think Phil's doing any more exclusive interviews. And that'll be. Now, does that mean that other outlets won't ask the question? They will, but it'll be more in the case or a form of a podcast.
Do you guys think it's better though? They just rip the Band-Aid off and say, "You know what, guys?
They're not going to do it at their show."
Well,
but they won't. They won't do it there. But they should do it. They should do it before the show.
Maybe do it after the show. I mean, even if it's after the show, like because what's happening is that there's this uncertainty of okay, well, what game's going to be next? And I feel like that kind of distracts from. Maybe not all the time. Again, in our little small circle here, probably not in the general population, the general consumer market, but but I just think that at least here, it's more like it distracts from the games being shown, like to an extent. You're like,
I totally agree. I think the interview with Ryan is the moment.
They gotta have games to show first place. You know what I mean?
Right. So I'm very optimistic on this show. And yeah, like the PlayStation fan in me is like, yeah, I wonder how many games are coming. I'm like, PlayStation. But at the same exact time, like, I'm very excited for Indiana Jones. Let's fucking go. I love Indy. Right? I love Gears. I want to see what's up with Everborn. Or sorry, Everborn, Jesus, right?
Everwild.
Everborn Saga, where are you, my brother?
Everwild.
They have to pull off the Band-Aid at some point, because if not, I mean, it's almost the showcase. And I do think, I want to be clear, I think the showcase is probably going to be awesome. Like, I think they're going to have a lot of stuff to show.
I think they're going to have a lot of stuff, man.
I think they're going to have a lot of stuff to show. But in a way, right now, it's almost like the girl that announces she's pregnant and then she's kind of embarrassed to tell everyone who the baby daddy is afterwards, because people are asking, like, hey, who's the dad? And everyone's... Exactly, it's not BRAP. But everyone's going to be asking, hey, is this going to PlayStation? Is this going to some of these other platforms?
And because they need to have that definitive moment.
They need to have a definitive answer, because if you look at it does not, I mean, you could be a hardcore fan of Xbox. If you look at the sit-down meeting that Herman Hulse had, the other CEO, I'll completely screw up his name, and you look at what Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and Booty did, it was two drastically different types of communication to your consumer base. One of them was very clear and concise. The other, I don't even know what the hell happened. And they need to be able to take that messaging over and be very clear and concise to their fan base of, here is what you can expect within the next 12 to 15 months. We're going to deliver this to Xbox Game Pass, and this is going to be hitting other platforms. You have to do it at some point.
I got news for you. I think you make a good point, Steve, but you're not going to. I don't think you're going to hear anywhere near 12 to 16 months. They're not going to do that again.
Bro. Mooch, when's the last Xbox showcase that was memorable or you even thought was a good? I don't think it's going to be a good show. I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to be a very mediocre show. You know why? Because they've always fucking done that for the last fucking.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They've proven it time and time again. You guys think they're going to have all these games lined up? I just think it's going to be a very mediocre show, and they're gonna fucking tippy-toe through all the fucking heat. That's it.
I really think.
I don't think it's gonna be mediocre.
I think. Well, here's the thing. So, Singer, let me say this much. So here's the games I think you guys.
I hope I'm wrong.
Well,
I hope I'm wrong.
And Blaze may have a point here. So I think they're gonna end with Gear 6, right? So they'll end with Gear 6. But you're looking at like Silk Song's Date, Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3, and then they're probably gonna have a small game stealth drop. And I mean, like, that's my prediction.
No, I don't think that's the whole story, because I did a prediction, right? Because I said to myself, what are pie in the sky moments, what are set in stone, and what could be there, right? I split them into 3 categories, right? Now, the set in stone was, I think we see Doom. Right, I think we see.
You do see Doom, absolutely Doom, and absolutely Gears.
Doom, Gears. I think we see more on the Avowed, which I'm super excited for,
and probably Indiana Jones. I do agree with
Indiana Jones. Yes. We see that.
We
also probably see updates to Perfect Dark, State of Decay. Then you're also probably going to get.
You say update to Perfect Dark? How about just see Perfect Dark?
How about show? Yes. How about we just see it for once?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. An update. That's what I mean. Then you'll probably see. You can see now. In Exile and all that won't be there. So like Everwild, I don't think it's going to be there, because that's in whatever's happening with that game. But then Blizzard games will be here, because they cancelled BlizzCon this year. And if you follow Blizzard, BlizzCon is where they make all their announcements. The WoW expansion, Overwatch stuff, all their games, Diablo stuff, all gets announced at BlizzCon. That's where they do it.
Yeah,
It's
but I hate to say it, but that singer that doesn't move the needle for. I mean, that's going because those games are going everywhere.
Yeah, but I'm on about in what I expect to see at the show, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying what would move the needle.
All right.
What to expect. So, Blizzard, I expect to see that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then,
what about Stalker 2? What about that?
I expect to see that. I also
Stalker
expect
2,
to see Double Fine's new game.
I would hope so.
It's been a long time since Psychonauts 2.
Yep.
I would assume they got something lined up. And then my pie in the sky hope is I want to see more Fable. Do I think it's going to be there? No. Will I be excited if it is? Yes, I'll be super excited. It'll automatically give me 2 points.
I want to
whatever the show score is.
I want to go the opposite of kind of wanting to see things. I'm pretty open about being a Sony dude, so I don't really give a shit. But I do want to see them showcase what is going to be ready to go and what can you guarantee in the next 12 to 15 months. Like, I understand that they tried to do that 2 years ago. They completely missed. I don't give a rat's ass about, like, Perfect Dark could be in development. Fable could be in development. That's totally cool. Like, flash something, take a minute, whatever. But I want to see them focus on, here is what we're going to deliver on this date. Here's the release date. Here's what we're going to deliver on this date. Here's the release date. Like, I think they need that. Well, I don't think they need that. They do need that. They have to establish a cadence of games that's coming to Game Pass, and then they're going to charge, $30-$40 to access it early. But I understand what Destinger's saying. I think that he makes good points about wanting to see those things, like a wish list of, hey, I'd like to see this, this, and this, which I think is great. But I really think that if they're going to get to the point of a PlayStation, and one thing I know that drives people nuts about PlayStation is they don't show kind of long term what's out there. I personally like that because I want to see what can I expect within this time frame and deliver on it. Don't just show me shit, deliver on it and bring that to fruition. And if it's not going to happen, or if it's 2 or 3 years down the road, don't even show me at your showcase. Show me things that you can capitalize on because they need some wins.
Well, I think showing off stuff like, even if you did show off Fable, which is a few years out, that would be a win because Fable, as much as I personally love Fable.
Oh, me too.
Fan. So, but obviously, and I forgot to mention the Starfield expansion will definitely be there. That's a given, and that'll be releasing this year. And I think they will give a whole bunch of dates, because we know Indiana Jones is coming out this year, Terrorborn, the Shad Space expansion, the Gears collection, if it is there, probably comes out this year, because all they have to do is group them into a collection.
But they need to show gameplay. They need to show in-engine gameplay.
And also Avowed. So they got like 5 or 6 games coming out for the rest of the year. So if you've got 5 or 6 things coming out for the rest of the year, then you can show all these games that are coming in 2025, 2026.
I agree.
You've already satisfied me for this year. So
the thing is,
at least the trailers are going to hit 60 FPS. I mean, their games struggle to hit 60.
A lot of people. It really comes down to a few things, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. Showing games off, and then the quality of the games, right? So the Blizzard thing, I'm with you there, Singer. I like where you're going with that. I've said this to you, Singer. We've gone back and forth, and I understand you're looking forward to it. So this is not to diminish at all any of the excitement you have. But Avowed continues to just look worse and worse. Avowed really doesn't move the needle at all. Gear 6 looks to be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm a huge post-apocalyptic person. You guys know anything Walking Dead or zombies, I'm playing. I mean, our platinum days go on. Like, I don't care what people said. I'm playing the hell out of that.
What about State of Decay?
We played State of Decay 2. That's what I said. So State of Decay 3 has got my full attention. State of Decay 2 for me was a huge letdown. I didn't like.
I love State of Decay 2, so I'm happy.
I believe you said you liked it like 8 months to 12 months after it was released when they kind of fixed it.
Oh, I've always stood on business, even before it was. Because when the game first released, I remember Luca, because this was when we were on Scumcast, when it released.
Yes.
I was guesting on there. And we had the conversation that she was following through the map and hated it.
Yeah, I was playing with Luca when She was stuck in the ground. We were playing. It was me, Luca. I can't remember the Crap, and I can't remember who the fourth person was. I know me, Luca, and Crap were playing, and and she's like, guys, before you go any further, I'm literally stuck between the first and second floor of this house. And it was like, okay, so like it was. Shout out to Mash, by the way. Thank you so much for those 20 gifted subs, buddy. All too kind. Please, guys, do hit that like button. No, but Singer, go ahead. Like I said, I'm super stoked for State of Decay 3. I'm not one of those people that goes, oh, the second one wasn't great for me, I'm done. No, I'm on board with the third one. I'm hoping we see some gameplay from them.
Thing is, you say, and then as well as the State of Decay thing, like that CGI trailer, the game ain't gonna look like that. I could tell you, it ain't gonna look like that. That's a CGI trailer.
Right, of course.
Right. But I'm sure they're gonna capitalize off what they learned from State of Decay 2, because they implemented later on down the line. If you play the game now, for example, they have so much content, there's so many modes, they completely fleshed it out. So they have the basis now for State of Decay 3, so I'm personally excited. But on the Avowed thing, I saw Avowed, and I was like, this is fun. And then I looked at the graphics, and I was like, but this looks like an Obsidian game. Like, Obsidian has never been on the cutting edge of graphics. Did you play the Outer Worlds? It looked like the Outer Worlds.
I did, but it put me into a coma. We had people looking for me for a few days.
You didn't like the Outer Worlds?
No, not at all.
Fallout in space, man. Oh, well, I mean, I personally loved it, but I love Obsidian.
That's fine. I still think Obsidian is. I still think they're very.
You
talented.
like League of Legends, bro.
Right? And I also like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, there you go,
There you
Singer.
go. There you go.
Now you're talking.
Oh, cool. I'll catch you for this. Red Dead Redemption 2 is very overrated.
Oh my
come on.
God.
Come
Any
on,
chance I
Mr.
can.
Bad Bid.
You can watch Tombstone 20 times,
here we go.
and you get what that game is.
Chat, we need booze in chat.
Yeah,
Let me take the heat. I could take it.
Wait, so Singer,
Red Dead Redemption 2 was just Tombstone, but way longer.
The
Great
thing is,
attention to detail. Great open world.
great writing.
yeah.
Arthur?
Writing I've seen before.
If you're a fan of Obsidian games, you understand Obsidian games have never been graphic cutting. But if you want storytelling, you want interesting NPCs and side characters, and you don't want, shout out to Horizon, doing these useless fetch quests, for the most part, and you actually have some interesting shit to do, Obsidian are masterclass at storytelling. So I am there for the story and the characters and to enjoy the world. Because I play Pillars of Eternity, I understand the world Avowed is set in. So I'm like, okay, cool. I will know the locations, the characters, the places, the NPCs, terminologies, etc. So personally, I'm super hyped for it. And anyone who's a fan of RPG should be pretty hyped for this game, because Obsidian is one of the best to ever do it in the RPG space. So that's why my hype levels are so high on it.
Now, don't forget though, Singer, Outer Worlds came out as well when they were still in. I mean, they were weren't they pretty much independent just either before that just came out? That game was mainly done, right?
Private Division.
So
it was published by Private Division.
So here we go. So here we go. The report card is out. The report card is out. A lot of these teams that made games, like, people were like, oh my god, Starfield's gonna be, Skyrim in space, which I said, and everyone went at me for this. I said it's gonna be more like Fallout in space, which it certainly was. And it didn't do very well. It didn't do nearly as well as Skyrim or Oblivion or any of those types of games, right? So you have I'm just saying the report card is out right now. This is going to be Obsidian's first full-fledged under Microsoft's umbrella game, and it may not even live. I'm Singer, and I know you always wear your truth on your sleeve, so I'm very anxious when Avowed comes out to have you on the show. I want to hear what you think of Obsidian after Microsoft versus Obsidian prior to Microsoft.
The reason why I trust them is because the people there now are the same people there. They haven't had people leave. Their directors haven't left. Joe Sawyer's,
That's true.
Sawyer's still there. These people, the fact that he's still there is in good hands, because he is a mastercrafted storyteller.
Yes.
You look, and it's not even they rely on one person to tell a story, because if you played the Outer Worlds expansions, they were written by other writers and they were equally as good. So they have multiple people who could crank out a banger of a story.
I hope so. I really do.
I'm over the moon with it, and people go, oh, but the graphics, but the this and that. And it's like, how many Obsidian games have you played and you actually enjoyed? just say you don't like Obsidian and the way the game looks. It's just not for you.
I would not have been a fan of Outer Wilds. World. Sorry, God, me and names today. But I'm not blown away by Avowed. I'm looking forward to Avowed winning me over. Again, I'm always going to cheer for a developer. I'm never going to tear them down because I know their pedigree. They're a very talented developer. And though I'm not into their games, I can see the quality. Just like as much shit as I give Red Dead, I know the quality's there. Mm-hmm. That said, like for me, as Mr. PlayStation walking in on it, like Gears is a pillar of just game for me. So I can't wait to see Gears of War 6. I want to see what the Coalition have been working on in terms of like seeing that collection finally out in the open and seeing what they can do with Unreal Engine 5. That excites me. When it comes to Indiana Jones, I love Indy ever since a kid. I don't care if it's not going to be, I don't care how bad the movie bombed at the box office. I enjoyed myself. I love that series. So I'm looking forward to the game. And then you have a few others out there that I am interested to see how they maneuver around Blizzard being there. I think that was a great death dropped on us because there is no BlizzCon, which means Blizzard will have a presence there. We will probably see that Diablo expansion pack. And I love Diablo. I've poured over 200 hours in Diablo 4. So absolutely. I'm excited for it. And listen, as much shit as we give because it's an annual title, but I'm genuinely excited for Black Ops 6. This is the first Call of Duty that has had, if I'm not mistaken, a 4-year dev cycle. And so I want to see what Treyarch has been working on Black Ops.
I'm also excited, Mr. Babbitt, but just to temper expectations a bit, I'm going to be there day one. Of course, I've never missed a Call of Duty. I don't plan on doing that anytime in the future. It's still going to be a cross-gen. So even with the development time, that can help your story, that can help this, that can help a lot of things. But realistically, you really do have to come to expect that.
It's going to be the same fucking
very
game.
Damn close. Yeah,
Blaze. I love how skeptical you are. Yeah, no.
It is, bro. I'm just realistic. Yo, come on. How many Call of Duties do we got to play for you to realize it's the same game?
Listen, I did not like MW3, but genuinely speaking,
nobody did.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
I think it was made overnight.
To my multiplayer group,
it was made overnight.
There's no difference between MW2 and MW3. I'm like, yes, there is. It's drastic.
Now, I got a question though.
Nonetheless,
I want to
those Modern Warfare.
Let me just go ahead, Mr. Babbitt.
The Modern Warfare series has been my favorite. And the stories that they tell and the levels that you go through, I think it was MW2 had one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns, if not my favorite Call of Duty campaign. They really thought out of the box to not just make it this big bombastic, single player shooter thing that we know every year for. They really tried to do something unique. That Mexican town level, I forget, when you're in the middle of the night and it's kind of it gives you that Resident Evil type of feeling as you're lurking through. They do interesting shit. So I get it, annual title, whatever, it's gonna still play like Call of Duty at the end of the day. But I'm interested to see what that extra time has done for that team.
A lot of microtransactions ready to go, bro.
Listen, I got I've got the pterodactyl guy, man, or the raptor guy.
Listen,
you know what the problem is with first-person shooters? And this ain't a shot at just Call of Duty. All first-person shooters have not been innovative. I can't tell you. They all kind of they're in this one lane. They just haven't done anything innovative.
Right?
Yeah, I mean they've been chasing COD forever now.
Yeah,
I am curious.
It's either you're that arcade feeling or you're the Halo arena shooter,
right?
And that's the problem. That's first person.
Or your CS:GO and Valorant.
Or you can just bring back SOCOM and end my misery, please.
I mean, SOCOM would be fucking dope.
Amen. I am curious. What do you guys think about the third party deals that they're going to have that are going to show up here? That's one thing I don't think we've hit on yet. And
that's
we know they're going to have
the third party deals. What was the one that almost was guaranteed? I'm looking to see what I have in my list here. Say it again?
Stalker 2, Silk Song?
Silk Song, Stalker 2, we mentioned those two. Those are the two I had on my list as far as what I thought. I mean, there was originally thought that they were going to show the new Dragon Age, but it looks like that's not going to happen, right? They're having their own show.
And they changed the name.
Summer Games Fest, Dragon Age.
Right. So that won't be... A lot of people earlier this week were...
Outlaws? Star Wars Outlaws, maybe?
No, that'll be at Ubisoft.
Nah, they'll do Ubisoft.
Yeah, but wasn't last year where they were like, here's a little thing, and then...
But that was just the announcement. Like, they're not going to show off any in-depth gameplay.
Man, maybe I just want to see more Outlaws, man.
You're going to if you watch Ubisoft.
Exactly.
I'll do it for... I'll fine. I'll go watch the Ubisoft show for that.
Yeah, there's rumors of like maybe Square being there at the showcase.
Yeah, let's do it. What is it? Final Fantasy 16 or whatever. Like, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Gong Trail.
Not that, but yeah, I think that the Square Enix definitely could make an appearance. What about Atlas, BRAP? You're always big on that.
Yeah, I mean Atlas. There's they could. I think they are. Are they going to be there? I don't know if that's. I know they're going to be at Summer Games Fest, obviously, but yeah. I mean, if they give us some more goodies, I forget the new game that's coming out that they showed. I forgot, but if anything Atlas at Xbox Showcase would be good in my opinion.
What's their shadow drop, BRAP?
Yeah, what's the shadow drop? Everyone's saying they're gonna have a shadow. That's the other thing.
I think it's a Gears collection.
I think so too.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I don't want. I don't want the shadow drop.
I actually think it'll be Double Fine's game.
Okay. All right.
Look at the last game that was shadow dropped, boys.
Is that the Tower
How did Hi-Fi Rush?
No.
Yeah,
The Double Fine's game hasn't been announced.
The one with Jack Black.
I'll be right back.
Yes, but I think it's going to be on the smaller side, a bit like not Ghostwire Tokyo. What's the
Hi-Fi Rush?
Hi-Fi Rush. It's going to be that similar scale.
Yes,
and I think they'll shadow drop it.
Yes,
another passion project by the Xbox guys.
They're going to get closed.
Blaze,
they get closed. It's a bad precedent. I don't like it.
Blaze, I like what Blaze just said.
GG, bro.
It's like Xbox does something like that, and then it's like the entire fan base is like they have to do that again. It's like, do you? I don't know.
No, you don't. And they struck gold with that. They got, what I mean? They did. And then it don't matter. You drop a awesome game loved by everybody, and then you shut them down a year later. So it's just like, bro, fuck Xbox. Period.
Dude, speaking of that, like, let's talk about that for a second, guys. I mean, before we get to the Summer Game Fest, like Hellblade 2, the completion rate not good, right? They showed the sales not good. So you've got a low completion rate on a very short game, which means even people in Game Pass, if you don't want to use the sales, because you're like, Mooch, stop talking about sales, all right? They're playing on Game Pass, but they're not playing on Game Pass. So they're not playing the game through. It's a short game. I mean, if you're only playing an hour or 2 hours, that's a low level of engagement. And the sales on it were low. I don't think it did very well on Steam. Is Ninja Theory, now that the numbers are all coming out, I don't think Ninja Theory's in trouble, but do you guys, Blaze, do you think Ninja Theory's in trouble?
I do. I think they, listen, you don't buy Ninja Theory and have them put out the same product, okay? It's the same game. What was the sense of you having all this funding and Microsoft support and all this shit, and you put out the same exact product?
Like literally.
Thing is, I don't think they'll get shut down because only recently, like last year or the year before, they opened a second studio. Microsoft ain't giving you this money just to close you down afterwards, just to open a second entire ass studio. No, I don't think.
I hope not.
I think they're in on Ninja Theory. The same way Playground opened a second studio, right? Playground ain't going anywhere.
Okay, but let's not forget how small Ninja Theory's team is. So just because they opened up a second division, that they probably don't even both of their little divisions don't even equal to a real size studio.
Their numbers have gone up. Ninja Theory's current count is way higher than what it used to be.
Aren't they somewhere between 80 and 100 now?
Let me check.
Yeah, check that out. I thought they were between, but 80 to 100 kind of like is what Blaze is talking about. That's not really like, that's not a 350 person studio.
They close down studios with bigger, like, so that's what I'm saying. Just because they have two doesn't mean they can't be eliminated, because them two don't equal one.
It was 120 as of 2020, but they just opened a new studio.
Okay.
So that has gone up. So let's say a second studio, you hire 50 people. I know because the jobs are over here, because Ninja Theory's based here.
Yep.
And when I look at the jobs, Ninja Theory's hiring, they got like 50 positions open. Like, Ninja Theory is currently actively hiring, so I don't think they're getting shut down. The same way Playground's actively hiring. They got a whole bunch of job positions that I'm not qualified for, but whatever. Dreams. But so I don't think Ninja Theory's in trouble at all. I think if Double Fine, that might be in trouble.
I think that Ninja Theory better find a game that makes money, though. Or we need to figure out how Microsoft measures success internally, right? Because we saw Hi-Fi Rush, by all intents and purposes, was a massive success, and whatever the other verbiage that they used, and then they got doors shut and locked.
So you look at they didn't open a second studio, so that's why I think
right. But you look at Hellblade 2, and if they open up a second studio, you got to pay the bills for that second studio plus the bills for the first studio. And by all intents and purposes, you look at the potential sales for Hellblade 2, and they don't look. I mean, I don't even know that they made the money back. I have no idea what their budget was. So
if PlayStation bought Ninja Theory, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a PlayStation guy, I'm telling you the world would have been expanded on, the combat would have been expanded, and wouldn't have been the same product with Unreal Engine 5. It wouldn't have been Unreal Engine 5 with the same product.
I think they probably would have looked into like Decima Engine or one of those other internal engines that they
no, but the gameplay really they would have added something, is what I'm saying.
For sure.
That's the problem. There's nobody in charge over there saying, "Yeah, guys, they're not taking any chances." Yeah, they're not taking any chances.
Yeah.
And listen, I hate to tell you, if you're gonna go the safe route, you're gonna don't expect anything. No one's gonna jump around and say, "Ooh," like, bro, you're taking the safe route, and people know that.
Yeah,
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, they're also. I did check Ninja Theory's website and their LinkedIn page.
Yeah,
they are no job opportunities there right now. They're not hiring.
No. They've had 2 games since they've been acquired: Bleeding Edge and Hellblade 2, and
both dog shit.
Really bad. Well, Bleeding Edge really bad.
Bleeding Edge is gonna be. Now, me and Luca joked about this. Shout out to Luca. And I posed this. I'll pose this to you guys because it was posed. I posed this to them. On a scale between Lawbreakers and Bleeding Edge, how long will Concord last?
Longer than both of them.
I was going to say more than both of them combined and then some.
Yeah. I think that I really do, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a PlayStation guy. I don't give, I'm saying this because of the conversations that I've had today, especially I put some details out about Concord that hadn't been put out there yet, and I do think that PlayStation has done some data. I'm not in their boardroom, right, but they have done some metrics that they have a pretty good feeling about this, and they are extremely confident in the fact that the gunplay is going to be effective, so much so that if you pre-order the game, they are giving you 5 beta codes to give away. I haven't seen anyone do that before, and I'm happy to be wrong if someone has. I'm trying to
think. It has happened before. I don't remember.
Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft.
Yeah, it might have happened before, but I'm not familiar with.
Anyone have a beta code? Please feel free to send it BRAP's way. By the way, just
I got that out there. I got you. I'll have a few. So I'll
thank you, Seeds.
Give them out to the panel, but. Yeah, I do think that game, while again it may not speak to me and it may not speak to other people, they are going to find an audience that does very well with that game. And I think that the Overwatch crowd, was massive there for a while, right? Like, they were massive.
They are putting advertising into it, and Blaze said it earlier in the show, Seeds. And the one thing that Blaze was saying, if you guys, again, everyone has short-term memory. When it comes down to it, Helldivers 2 didn't even get near this kind of a push from Sony. People were like, is Sony going to push Helldivers 2? Like, it comes out next week, and
Mooch.
Concord's already gotten 2 big showings this week too, as far as just grassroots press. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking at Playgrounds because Death Singer piqued my interest here. They, as I mentioned, Ninja Theory's not hiring, but Playground Games is. They have about 10 or 1, 2, 3, 4.
Playground's a talented group.
They have way more than that because I was just.
But one of their positions is quest designer, which is kind of interesting.
I also noticed there's a character artist for all levels, which now look an environment artist for foliage, roads, geology, terrain. So actually thinking about it, I don't think we see the game this year, to be honest.
No, I don't. I was going to say that, Desic. I don't think we're going to see Fable for a little while because this one job posting is specific to Fable. Actually, the quest designer.
Yeah, because I was looking at their thing, on their actual website, and all of them mention Fable. Like, I don't see anything for Horizon, so there's at least 20 jobs here. So, and it's for everything, literally everything. UI, really? Like, I don't know.
So, and I hope that they don't spend a lot of time. Sorry, Mooch. I hope that they don't spend a lot of time on some of these games that are so far out because they need. I mean, they just released their first title this year, and I know other people are gonna be like, "Well, Sony hasn't." Well, we have had multiple games that have been published by Sony that have released. Xbox just had their first one in Hellblade 2. They need to be able to show us, and especially their fans who are vested into their platform, they need to be able to show what are you going to be able to do from here to the showcase the next year. Like, what can we expect? Just keep it within 10 months, like, and give solid dates that are that you can hit. Show that, focus on that, show extensive gameplay, and build the confidence into people to come and invest into your ecosystem. Because if you don't do it, again, you can show a new handheld device. Why would people go and buy it if you aren't going to give them a reason with your games?
Yeah.
So I hope that they fixate on that and show a lot of games that are coming very quickly that fans can grasp onto and really leave that showcase.
Seeds everything you just said holds water. I'll tell you, we talked about it, so I'm not going down that path again. But boy, oh boy, just like when the Xbox One was announced back when they were like $499, that handheld, they know that they're in a competitive market out there, right? So you've got your $700 ROG Ally X that's going to be coming down the pipe, $699 or whatever they're asking for that. And Steam Deck gets as low as I want to say Steam Deck is $349 or I don't know if there's a $299 Steam Deck now or $349 or $399. I know that there's more expensive Steam Decks too if you get the non-glossy screen and you get the bigger this and that. But my point being is that they really need to knock the price out of the park, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get it much lower than $400 or $500, and I don't
think so.
And the problem is even with a great showing on stage, showing somebody playing it or them holding it up in the air, being like, and you can play that game day one on this device wherever you go. That's great, but then once they say that thing is, if they say $499, okay. If they say anything over $499, the audience, everyone's just kind of be like, hold their breath. I don't know if that's necessarily, especially when they have a $500 Xbox Series X that's been barely utilized over the course of the first 4 years. And I know a lot of people go, I use my Xbox all the time. I understand that, but I'm just trying to say to you, as far as new games coming out, like you had Starfield, you had Halo. I know Halo did well Metacritic wise, but outside of that, it was almost 30 to 60 days after it came out, it was just kind of like people weren't talking about it anymore. We haven't had a Gears this generation yet. There's a lot that needs to be proven here. So in order to prove to go buy another $500 item, they really got to really push that envelope with software and price. So Blaze, I want to ask Blaze a question real quick here because I want to get his take on Jeff Keighley. He basically warns there won't be like one more thing at the end of this year's show. He says, according to Keighley, it was a light year in the industry. Now, Blaze is muted, so I'm not sure if Blaze is here. He stepped away for a second. But, like...
I mean, I'll handle it.
Oh, yeah. Joe, I didn't know if you were back. But, yeah, Mr. Babbitt, what's the deal? Do you think Game Fest is going to be a blast tomorrow? Or do you think it is going to be a temper your expectations type of show? He wasn't able to get the teams to provide... They're all working on stuff that they were ready to show.
I think it's a testament to what hardships the industry finds itself in. I think it's a really weird comment because at one, we talked a little bit on this on the trophy room last night. It's a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. And I thought if BRAP could do it, I could do it too.
Absolutely. Great plug, Mr. Babbitt.
And, it's like on one hand, you got to temper expectations. And then on the other, the reports are coming out now. It's like to reserve a spot for a minute it's over 200 grand.
Yeah.
It's like, it's an expensive show. I mean, listen.
It's got a lot of eyes on it, though.
It's got a lot of eyes on it. It doesn't look cheap. You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
It's like, yeah, I get it. At the other hand, if I spent $200,000 on a spot and I hear the guy that just sold me it go, yeah, it's a Lightyear. It's like, well, what the hell does my game
I was just going to say, it's right. You just paid $200,000 for 30 seconds. Yeah.
That's a goddamn starter home I'm saving up for, goddamn it. So it's like, that's the issue that I kind of have with it. But it is good that at least someone's coming out going, listen, guys, we're going to have games. It's going to be a fun time, but let's not get crazy with it.
Right.
I appreciate that, so that someone can actually go, okay, well, listen, he did say in advance this wasn't going to be the craziest show ever. Because, it's kind of like with the state of play that happened last week. There was one person that tweeted it out perfectly. It's like, all right, we're in the cycle of everybody is hyping up a state of play, and then it comes out and everybody complains about it afterwards. It's like, sometimes from what I've seen with every showcase over the last year, it's just never good enough. And so for me, I would rather see folks come with the right expectations to a show rather than them try to blow it out of proportion and it just be a dud. I'm expecting to see some good games. I'm expecting to see games that, are AAA quality from publishers that usually don't have showcases. I outside of Monster Hunter Wilds and whatever 2K's got cooking up, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I know it's out on Twitter, but I don't want to do that.
Oh, come on, Mr. Babbitt. I'm so excited to yell it from the mountaintops. That's like one of my favorite games ever.
Nah, don't do it. Let the kids have fun.
All right.
And so, it's just, keep it level. It's going to be a lot of AA stuff. You're going to see some really interesting indies. It's going to be a Jeff Keighley show. I don't think the Jeff Keighley show is ever gotten the show of the showcase or whatever. Like it usually is just like, yeah, it's pretty good, and that's what I'm expecting.
I would be surprised at some point to see some of these companies just kind of do their own thing or fall under the umbrella of a PlayStation show or an Xbox show or whatever, and then they just have the game awards once a year. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe companies will continue to do this, but you're starting to see more and more of these companies just kind of throw out their own trailers, throw out their own, run their own marketing. You got Ubisoft that branched off to do their own thing. You have some of these publishers that, I mean, you even look at, names escaping me. They did Banishers, a couple other titles. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But these large publishing companies, I could see them starting to branch off and kind of do their own thing, especially maybe not even during the summer. But
I think Banishers is a perfect game. Like Don't Nod is a perfect studio to go do that stuff with. I would just say never underestimate the pull of a Jeff Keighley show.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not downplaying. I think he's done a great job. I just think the more that we go to that, $250,000, hell, you could pay a bunch of creators that have significant pull and that get just as many eyes on as maybe what he does to run their trail. I mean, how many people did Kai have watching him when he was playing Elden Ring?
Yeah.
If you get banned, if you get them to show a Shadow of the Erdtree trailer a couple times while he's playing that game, that's money well spent because you have a shit ton of people not only watching him, but that are going to see the clips of him and all these other things. So from a marketing standpoint, I could see these companies start to invest differently maybe in the future of utilizing content creators, utilizing ad space, maybe even within games, right? Like you have some of these companies that are talking about doing that.
They kind of are doing that.
Go
ahead, Mr. Babbitt.
Yeah, with someone in the influencer, influencer relations field, it's a real it's like that sounds like a feasible plan. It is so much harder to go out there and get a creator to promote said game. And then even then, like, I'm thinking of Yakuza and like Dragon's Dogma got like two really popular streamers. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. I think one's like QXC that played Yakuza, and like it was not a great stream because like he doesn't play those games. And even then, it's like that's not bringing in the millions of folks that a Jeff Keighley show would. And how much do those creators charge per hour? Because I'm thinking of like a creator that has like a 10,000 to 20,000 followers. You're talking, you are dropping $1,000 on them.
I will say,
how many of those people are there for the streamer and not the game?
I will say this much though, since we're talking about the Keeleys here for a second. BRAP, I don't know if I wanted to get kind of BRAP's take on this, because I know back in the day, I've known BRAP for a very long time.
I gotta get going too, Mooch. But sorry, go ahead.
Last question for you, BRAP. Here's the thing. BRAP, do you think, because now we don't have our traditional E3 anymore, we don't have it anymore, there was a bit of stress, right? Think about it, BRAP. You're in the corporate world. I know this. You have a lot of things when you have presentations, you have this and that, you have things that are due, and they say to you, you need to do this next week. Your big yearly update is coming on. You've got 7,000 PowerPoints, right? The whole nine. You're preparing for this, BRAP. Now, that's what E3 used to be. E3 used to be everybody front and center coming out. It was, yes, of course it was rehearsed, but didn't have a lot of time to rehearse. It was get everything together. There was a stage that had to be set up. They had events. They had music. They had this. They had lights. It was so much going on. And sometimes there was gameplay going on stage. And if things messed up, things just happened. You remember those days of E3. That doesn't happen anymore. And I feel like the Summer Game Fest and the Keighley Awards in December, late November, December, ends up being, it's the shock factor's not there. I think it's a lot more relaxed. I think that the pressure is off a lot of and I don't mean the devs. I mean the devs and the brass, Xbox brass, PlayStation brass, Nintendo, like that whole pressure to perform and put out your best product for E3. It had to be done by E3. Like it was a deadline, right? It wasn't here. They decided if the showcase wasn't ready on June 9th, they would have done it the next Sunday or the Sunday after that. Or if it was done early, they could have done it the Sunday before. You know what I'm saying, BRAP? So like, it's not necessarily like they're forced to do it on a certain Sunday. They can do it when they want. Whereas when E3 is E3, listen, the teletheater is booked. You got to do it. So what do you think, BRAP? Do you think that these game fests have lost a little bit of that flair that we used to get when E3 was a live show?
Yeah, I think, at least for me, the one thing I miss is you don't get the live fan reaction,
right,
at the showcases anymore. You just don't, because there's really no one there. I mean, it just that's gone, and but I mean, that being said, I mean, I think what's happened too is that it's cheaper, more cost effective for these companies to either have their own thing, like a state of play. I mean, remember we all laughed at Nintendo when they exited E3. That's right. Like, oh, what are they doing? They're stupid. And
that's crazy.
Fine. Yeah, and then when Sony laughed, we're like, oh, what is Sony's crazy?
They're nuts.
Everyone thought, as people tend to do, the Xbox community overstate things that Microsoft does with the Xbox. Because they said, Sony's dead. Xbox has E3 all to themselves.
That's right.
E3's no longer around.
And it's gone.
Yeah. And so I think there's probably...
Remember those days, BRAP? Holy shit.
I think there's at least in my opinion, there's probably a bit more bang for your buck when you're able to have a bit more control of the messaging. You're not spending millions of dollars to put together a stage, coordinate logistics, fly people out, like all that stuff's done, quote unquote, in house. So, this is just the world that we live in today. You could just have go on YouTube and you have access to millions and millions of people, and it's my guess it's probably more cost effective doing that.
I think so.
Mooch, I'm seeing this. Van Helsing. Yeah. Did you play it? Did anybody in here play it? You know what? I got the game for free, and they gave me 3 codes to give out.
You mean V Rising?
Game. V Rising. I'm sorry. What I call it? Van Helsing.
Oh yeah, it's good.
They're never giving me a key again. But the thing is, now I'm watching this shit. I'm like, holy. So if we'll talk. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I got a code as well.
Hey, Mooch, I gotta get going, man.
Go ahead. BRAP,
Nobody sends me nothing.
I only get the one code. BRAP, thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate you. I'll plug the channel at the end of the show for sure.
Yeah, no. See you guys.
Thanks, BRAP. No, I got a code for it, and you got to be careful nowadays. Anyone who's listening, in the audience that maybe cares about behind the scenes stuff, like when you accept the key, you are on the hook for a review, and they'll write you
or a live stream. Like all I have to do is live stream.
Yep, live stream counts. I'm just saying. Yeah. So I was kind of gauging the interest, and I only got like 100 people to reply to my poll, and they did say, I would say it was like 57% were like, yeah, I'm interested in V Rising. So I have the code for PC, I believe, and I'm not sure if I got one for PlayStation. But like my point being is what do you think about it? It's basically, is it not? And Mr. Babbitt, you can chime in as well. But Blaze, isn't it basically a kind of like a Diablo style game?
Yeah, kind of.
But you build your own like tower. Yes. You build your own fort. Area,
I got pretty
like
far in it. I didn't expect to like the game, but I ended up really liking the atmosphere. Like the day and night cycle is so unique and cool.
Yep.
And I have like 8 days left to stream that. So that's why. And I know people, the people we have podcasts. Like I know the interest for that game from our fan base ain't big, but it's actually doing pretty well on Twitch and stuff like that. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, I died to the sun more than anything else. Fuck that sun.
You got to run through the trees, brother.
Yeah, I did. Trees, and then I got killed by something else.
I'm interested in it. It's just the base building that has me caught.
I absolutely love that.
I didn't like that part either, but then I'm putting RGB lights all around my house. I got everything set. I got my bed over here, bro. I was like, yo, you know what? This is actually like relaxing and enjoyable, like for real. Like, and you're fighting. You have to chase down certain bosses, and they'll drop unique weapons or unique. Hey, listen, it's actually pretty enjoyable. I did not expect to like it. I don't even know why I even accepted it, because once you accept, if you don't, it goes against you as like.
That's right. That's why I didn't accept but I accepted it. I was like, I don't know if I want to get into this, because especially right now, like I'm finishing up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like I'm literally like about 60% through Stellar Blade. Like I'm just, and then there's other games that I kind of want to like go back and play. You know what I mean? Like so.
Maybe we can live stream it together.
We could live stream it. That would count. Are you playing on PC? Are you playing on PC or are you playing on PlayStation?
I'm on Steam, but the giveaway codes are for Steam too. I have 3 of them.
Okay. Everybody wants to review codes till they realize how stressful that shit is trying to get everything done.
Man.
That's right. That's why I'm like,
God forbid, you look over that embargo with your goddamn life.
You bet. That's right. Yeah. You better have like a magnifying glass. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what people don't realize, Mooch? I had Elden Ring 2 weeks early.
Believe me, buddy.
You remember that?
I was jealous as hell, buddy. That was awesome.
And listen, it's not because I'm Big Blaze 4K with a long peepee and a long nose. It's because I knew the right person that hooked me up, and I was so grateful. Actually, you guys know him, Next Gen Player. Sorry, I'm spilling the beans, but he knew how much I love Souls. He knew how much, and he gave me the game early, bro. I'm playing this shit early. And when people saying, "Oh, the game's easy," I'm like, brother, I don't even know where the fuck I'm going right now. Like, what? And you can't talk about it. There's no videos to look up.
There's nothing
because the embargo's out, and you're by yourself. But anyway, I didn't mean to derail this.
Listen, I gotta go. It's been a great night,
Mr. Babbitt. Thank you very much,
Babbitt. Nice talking to you again, brother.
Likewise.
Appreciate that, Mr.
Red Dead Redemption's awesome.
Hey, Mooch.
Hell yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Singer. Yes.
Right. The thing about the TV show is, he said around 2 hours. My problem, that's like an hour's worth of ads, and then an hour's worth of game reveals. For one. Because after every game reveal, they'll be guaranteed to be an ad. But my problem is when he said light. I looked at what games are releasing this year. There is a shit ton of hyped games releasing this year. I think he's saying it's light because most of them want to keep the reveals to themselves and they don't want to give it to him this year. And a lot of the games have like Black Myth Wukong, yeah, you could re-show it off, but you did that last year. And Warhammer, yeah, that'll be there. Space Marine 2 will be there, but we already know they did a whole deep dive.
I can't wait for that game too.
If you watch the Warhammer Skulls showcase, which is all things Warhammer,
yep.
They showed a bunch of it off there. They've already been done. So
yeah, but what about he's saying that, Dessinger? What about he's saying it's light just to surprise someone? You know,
That's
just
what I'm
I
thinking.
don't think he's gonna have a surprise because I was initially thinking he'd have Dragon Age, but I just found out. Shout out to Google. They renamed it to Veilguard, and they're having their
on
own
the 11th.
exclusive gameplay reveal on the 11th. So I was like, oh, okay. So Dragon Age ain't gonna be there like that. They may donate him a 1-minute trailer, but like that's all you're getting.
I do think. I mean, you got Al Pacino. He takes 25 minutes to walk his old ass out to the microphone.
True.
But,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Kojima has to get out there, and he has to spend 10 minutes praising Kojima. So there's that probably.
Oh, that's right.
He's gonna glaze that dude for at least 15, 20 minutes up there. But
of course.
I do think that companies, like I said, I don't think it may never go away. But I do think companies are starting to do their own, especially if they're a large enough publisher, or they're partnering with another, publisher that has maybe the third party marketing rights to it. That is, maybe contributing. Like we know that at some point Rockstar is going to do something with Grand Theft Auto 6. They may do their own. They will
do their own.
Right, they're large enough to command that presence, and I do think that the more some of these companies, I think, are starting to do that, and maybe wait until Game Awards or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know that we'll have the summer Game Fest the way that people think that. I mean, we had one, was it 2 or 3 years ago, that was pretty good. I think companies are going away from it, man, and they're starting to do their own marketing and starting to do things a little bit differently. So yeah.
I think he's taking liberties with his thing, because this is where he's pulling a trick. He's pulling a hat trick. He's pulling a magic trick right here. Because he's saying, over Summer Games Fest, but when I looked at the schedule for Summer's Games Fest, Xbox is counted in that showcase, Ubisoft showcase is counted in that, Devolver Direct is counted in quote-unquote Summer Games Fest.
That's
so when
true.
he says Summer Games Fest, you have to... Are you talking about the show, or are you talking about the overall time slot? Because E3's gone. So I think he's kind of encapsulated what E3 used to be, and it's all under the umbrella of Summer Games Fest.
Baking himself into the cake as a whole.
Yeah, but they've showed off titles, Dessinger. Like you remember, they would show off like a preview on PlayStation or Xbox, and then they would have the full deep dive on their show properly. You know what I mean? They can still do that. But I was just talking to Mooch about this on Solidcast about how the E3 severely missing. I was wrong saying that we don't need it, and we clearly don't, because they can pre-record their shows and shit like that. But I'm hoping Summer Game Fest can at least capture that, sit down with devs and talk about, breakdowns and shit like that, because that's the shit I miss, really. The shows were awesome, the presentations were awesome, but it was the developer breakdowns and seeing what's coming out and what the gameplay mechanics and all that shit, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I miss that shit.
And I think he's done a fantastic job. Like, I don't want to take anything away from the guy.
That's the thing, Seeds. You're right. I mean, look, I actually give him a lot of props, because
who else is doing it, Mooch?
That's what I'm saying. Like when this was in the ground, okay, and there were no awards, like no one that people really cared about. I know people go, we don't need that many actors on stage. We don't need that many musicians on stage. I get it. But like, in all honesty, this is the pastime we love. It's the only show that gets like millions of people. What do they say? 11 million? I don't know how many people. 11 million people? I don't know. Like
they get their recognition, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why do you think the games industry is kicking Hollywood's ass right now? You know what I mean? It's like because it gets that recognition. So I get that you guys say you don't necessarily dig it. That's cool. I'm not telling you to like it. And maybe he is profiting off of it. Maybe he all of a sudden now he went from he's driving the top of the line Tesla. I don't know
he's definitely profiting. Brother.
He's making money, but you know what? He, like you said, it also could have blew up in his face. Those first couple of years when he had that guy from Community on, those were bad. They were bad. What was the guy's name there? Joel McHale. Remember, Joel was like, who plays video games? It's a video game podcast, award show, Joel.
Bro, the fact that he can get all these developers and people to fly out and actually give a fuck, like, bro, that's a big thing. Like, you got to have some sort of presence and shit. Like,
I give him his flowers because, like I said, there was a while where it was either non-existent or it was a joke, and he brought it to like the main stage. Like people are wearing tuxes. There's a red carpet. There's a pre-show with Sydney. What's her face? That's awesome. The pre-show's great. The show is good. He has good entertainment, good music. Music.
He calls all the devs out, but he doesn't respect their time. Because
I hear you.
What I have noticed is like a lot of the awards just pop up on the thing. There is no glitz, there's no glamour. They don't get up on stage.
Well, they can't give an award to everything. Destiny. They'll be there for 10 hours.
No, he needs the time. But the thing is,
it's instead of having what's his name from Hollywood come out and introduce an award and spend 10 minutes on a speech. You could dedicate that take 5 minutes.
I'm with you, Dessinger. I'm with you.
Team that made best multiplayer.
I do agree with that,
brother. I'm with you 100%. But the problem is that stupid guy from Hollywood that we don't give a fuck is the thing that attracts. You know what I mean? That's the shit that brings in the eyes. You know.
But that's the plot. That's why it's the thing where because a lot of these awards are just throwaway awards. They just a little pop up. After time, you miss the awards. You're like, wait, who won what award? Oh, I didn't even know they won 3 awards. I only saw him collect 1 award.
But I don't necessarily know. Blaze, I'm going to push back on that a little bit because I don't necessarily think that the Hollywood guys bring those ads because a lot of times we don't even know who's going to be there, right? Like until
no,
they
but
show up.
Jeff Keighley does. So when he's getting all these ads, all these people to sponsor shows, he's like, oh yeah, I got him here. He's going to be there. So that helps with securing shit, bro.
And
absolutely,
it secures the advertising, the money.
We don't know about it, but they do.
Like I just think that when it comes down to it, and Mesh says he goes, I disagree. I think it's perfect. He says I want this dedication. If I want this dedication to devs, I'd watch the Golden Joysticks. He said, like I think there are other awards that really give the devs more time.
I think that's fair.
Singer,
yeah.
I think
that's fair.
And I think, Singer, you make a good point too. But again, this is the Super Bowl, right? Like listen, when my team was in the Super Bowl in 2007, 2011, it's been a minute. I just wanted to watch the game, right? But I had to watch Pepsi and Doritos and a really bad Ben Affleck commercial. Like it's all part of stuff that I had to deal with. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just part of the show. I've accepted it. Like when the awards are on, it can get a little long in the tooth. Sometimes on that third hour, that's what I say you work on. Like try to trim it to 3 on the nose. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things I think, in just my own, this is just my personal opinion. I think that gaming is so big now that I think it is bigger than the Hollywood celebrities that come out and give those awards. Now, if they are affiliated with a game, right? Because these Hollywood actors, I mean, don't get twisted, they are trying and longing to get in to do voice acting for video games.
Yeah.
They actively want to do it. So I do think that when it comes to some of this stuff, video games are big enough now and has enough power that I don't necessarily know that they actually even need those celebrities to sell the ad space. I think the games and the attention that
Seeds, listen, again, no disrespect. We're all here for the games. That's all.
Oh, for sure.
Right. But you do have to understand a year or two, you remove the superstars, the movie stars, any of the athletes that are coming through that. Listen, you have stars coming on, even if they're lying. It doesn't matter if they're lying. They're like, oh, I love, I can't wait for GTA 6. You got like 2 big stars. Imagine you had like, I don't know, name 2 big stars and somebody who's unbelievable in sports come out and says that. All of a sudden, like, it just draws people to the screen. It draws people to making the purchase.
I agree. I agree.
Like,
I do have a counterpoint to that move.
Go ahead, Sarah. I'm not saying it's 100% right.
You need these people to pay the bills, obviously, for the ad revenue.
Yeah.
But then, how does Green Day? I mean, sure, some people like Green Day, but he has to pay for them to perform there. They're not performing there for ad revenue because they didn't have an album out or anything.
Correct.
They were just there performing. I'm like, so how does Green Day performing a couple of songs have any impact or do anything other than to take up time and for Jeff to get on stage, swing his wang out and go, look, I got Green Day.
So you're not necessarily wrong, Singer. I guess my only answer for you is in the case of Green Day, okay, they're talking to my generation, right? So like Green Day, like, so people, right?
I remember Green Day. Green Day was out when I was
I'm not saying Green Day should be a headliner, but it is also the Game Awards. So Green Day for the Game Awards isn't necessarily awful. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get Blink 182
I can see both sides.
Right? So I hear you. I'm just trying to say to you, like, it's, I can see both sides as well. I just think that the way it is right now where he gets a lot of shit. And it's like, I just want, if everyone would just remember back like 6 years ago, the Game Awards were like, there was times people were like, we're not going to have them. Like, it's not going to happen this year. And it was like, that would have sucked. That would have really sucked. So, like, the fact that it is what it is now, I'm willing to deal with the ads. I'm willing to deal with the commercials. I'm willing to deal with the, the death. Now, the one thing I will say, you can't give, like Naughty Dog and Rockstar and these guys, you can't give them 60 seconds and then give, Kojima 15 minutes. Like, I would even it out a bit. But that's a completely different conversation. And I love Kojima, but I think you have to be fair to the devs across the board, right? Alan, was it Sam Lake? And Sam Lake's going to be there too as well. Looking forward to that. Yeah. So yeah,
Mooch, you got me missing the Celtics. I totally forgot the Celtics are playing.
I was going to say, man. Listen, I'm wrapping up the show right now.
Yeah, Mavs are getting their ass whooped.
We're on.
That's what I love to see.
I was just going to say that's why Blaze don't mind is boys. The team's up. So listen, here's my thing. I'll say this much, guys. Outstanding show tonight. Thanks to these guys for hanging out with me for almost 3 hours. But it is a games weekend, guys. Again, I just want to say out there, and I'll let these guys do their plugs in a second. Remember, 12:30 p.m. Sunday, right here on YouTube. We are doing the pre-show right into the live show. We got a great panel. Crap Gamer, Crusader, Noof Nukem, myself, couple others popping in and out. I love having a lot of people just show up on the show. It's going to be outstanding. It's going to be on cam. It's going to be wonderful. A lot of fun. And again, that's here on Mooch TV. And then we are going to be on Saturday, back to Elden Ring, hopefully getting closer and closer and closer. Shout out to Sin Vendetta, shout out to Blaze, getting closer and getting ready for that June 21st big DLC release. So we're going to be over on Twitch, but we're going to be here on YouTube on Sunday. It's Mooch TV everywhere. Drop the O's for zeros. It's M00CHTV. Follow me over on Twitch. Follow me here, please, if you haven't. That being said, the great, I'll go in reverse order here and say the great Blaze 4K. Blaze, awesome to have you on, buddy. Thank you for taking time tonight, not only to come over here, chop it up with us, also miss your Celtics. I know, but I think you guys are going to take game 1 and 2. Anyways, it really matters when you guys go back to Dallas. That's when the game will really take place. Blaze, let people know where they can find you. I had an awesome time. Go over and check out Solidcast too, please, guys. Saturday, I was over there. We had an outstanding show. It was me, Blaze, and Porter Rock. It was just a phenomenal 3-hour podcast. A lot of laughs. But Blaze, let people know where they can find you. Thanks for being here tonight, buddy.
Bro, absolutely. And the people saying, "Oh, Blaze woke up." No, bro, this is prime time. If you got kids, like
exactly,
kids getting in bed, kids doing homework, don't want to do homework, don't want to get off Fortnite, like
no shit.
You know what I mean? So I had to pop in and out. But no, always glad to be here, Mooch. You already know, bro. You just send me the invite. I'm here, bro. I do Solidcast Saturday nights, 9:00 Eastern. Come check us out. Other than that, I appreciate the invite. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel.
Yo, Blaze, thank you so much, but it's always great when you're on here, dude. It's lively. Your opinions matter, dude, and they are great. So shout out to the great Blaze 4K. But guys, go over and follow him everywhere, okay? That's YouTube. Go over and follow him on Twitter, now X. Shout out, by the way, to Rob's son. I see Impatient. I see RPG88, Mary Wilcox, Garada. Thank you. They're all saying great show. Kratos, guys, thank you so much. Delta, thank you. Guys, please do hit the like button on the way out. The great Death Singer. Honestly, love having you here as well, buddy. And I know it's very, very late over there in Wales, but I want to say I truly love when you're on the show, dude. Honestly, it's you've almost become like a regular panel member, and I got to tell you, I absolutely love it. I love your take.
Hey, anytime, Mooch. Just invite me on.
Well, you got to remember, Singer, I am a Mooch, and anytime you say anytime, I generally will ask you.
Be careful,
anytime.
Death Singer. Be careful.
Be careful, my friend. Yes.
It's always a good panel, good topics, good show. So I'm always down to, you want me on the show, talk about something. Like,
absolutely.
Definitely, when we see a vote, I definitely.
Oh, you have to be here, Singer. Yes, I might even put you in the thumbnail. Absolutely.
But yeah, you could find me everywhere at Death Singer, and you could also find me usually Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern on Scumcast with the awesome Asher Luca and Slomo and Forte.
Mm-hmm.
But for this week, it will be tomorrow. Well, yeah, tomorrow for you, today for me. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so look forward to that. And it's always nice to kick it with the panel again. I haven't spoke with Blaze in a while, so it's great to have my pony's favorite pony up on here.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
Great to have you, Singer. I appreciate it. The great Detective Seeds. Everyone in the chat was loving Detective Seeds tonight. They said, Mooch, great addition to the panel. I already knew that. Seeds, let everybody know where they can find you, buddy. And as always, thank you for being here tonight as well.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on. Love coming on every week, talking games, man. Blaze, first time with you, man. Pleasure talking games. Detective Seeds over on Twitter, and then Detective Seeds over on YouTube. I do a weekly upload on Sundays. It's called This Week in PlayStation because I like PlayStation. Covers all the news from the week before, so if you need a one-stop shop, I take things from the blog, announcements, so on and so forth. And then on Tuesdays, I upload Platinum Trophy videos. I did Bully this past week, and then I have Astro's Playroom that I did with my son. It's going up on Tuesday. And then I have Assassin's Creed Origins coming up the following week. So follow me at all that. Appreciate you having me on. And yeah, man. Look forward to Sunday. Sunday. They announced Gears collection on PS5. I will probably take my shirt off, scream, and run through the house. So, I'll be on camera.
Guys, you got to tune in for that one.
Dude,
it's going to be great, buddy. I cannot wait, buddy. Great to have you on with us as well Sunday. Just a couple quick plugs for everybody that had to leave a little early. Shout out to D-Batch. It's at D_Batch, and it's D-Batch over on YouTube. Shout out to the great D-Batch. Joseph Moran, you guys know him as Mr. Badbit. It's at Mr. Badbit. You go over and check out the Trophy Room over at PlayStation Podcast over on YouTube. And of course, BRAP, who came in, wasn't going to be able to make it. He was feeling a little under the weather, still hung out with us. That's at BRAP_podcast. And BRAP goes live Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Also, shout out to the great Gaming Forte and Slow-Mo Backslap, who are live right now over doing DPS podcast. Go over and check them out. Tell them Mooch sent you. Guys, we'll see you Sunday, 1 p.m. right here. 12:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. It's going to be a phenomenal Xbox Showcase show. I guarantee it. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. You're not going to want to miss this one. On the way out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And guys, enjoy the weekend. See you Sunday. Peace out. Good night.